This might also be the first time where we see both players take the boars with their scouts, because I think usually it's one player doing it and the other player not doing it. I think both of these players did it in the earlier rounds, and now they're against each other.
It could also be a situation where they both send the scouts to the other side to deny the person taking that board with the scout immediately, like right away, because they know the history. But welcome in, everyone.
Yeah, here we are. Grand Finals, Hidden Cup 5. It's been a long week. It's been a long event. I think for those who have issues with color blindness, we are going to change Alexios to red here today. Also, if he is who we think he is known for changing his color. We got game number 1 on evacuation. What a map to start off on here, Dave. And both these players have been so strong throughout the tournament. Whoever they are, big names have been guessed consistently. Vasco da Gama goes for his number 1 pick, which we speculated on, the Mongols, and is going to start this off doing something that he was the first to do in Hidden Cup 5 on evacuation. And he's going to bring in that boar, bring in that precious Mongol hunt with that scout.
Yeah, but look what Alexios is doing. He's not bringing in the boar immediately. He's instead looking for the cows. So there's a lot of extra cows that you have on this main continent area of evacuation. And he's going to try and find those. Hasn't found really any yet as Vasco continues bringing that boar. But now Alexios has a scout on full HP. So if Vasco wants to go contest the cow control on that main area, he's going to have to fight with an HP disadvantage.
Yeah, and it's funny to say that, to say cow control and have people not laugh at it, but it is actually a big deal here. And I didn't think it would be, but it seems like it's quite balanced in some ways, right? The one player gets the boar, but then their scout is weaker. The other player then has the scout to be able to find those cows. Now, over time, this map was named evacuation because you need to leave where you started. But there's a trend I noticed from Vasco, actually, where he just gets so far ahead. It doesn't matter that he is on this area where you eventually run out of resources. So the aggression is key between these two. It is also the key with Alexios. Combining water and land aggression on a map so brutal, only the best can do it, Dave. And I'm thrilled, I'm excited, but I'm very, very worried for Alexios here. With Vasco having all that extra food as the Mongols, Vasco should have a nice early feudal age.
Apparently, cows have 333 variations of moo. I wasn't aware. Thank you, Stats Guy.
I didn't know that. Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, I can't even fact check him on that. A little busy at the moment, so good to know. Stats Guy he asked me at the start, he says, how trolly should we be? I said, well, let's have some fun the first couple days. When we get to the grand final, though, it's all serious facts. And I would agree. That's a very serious fact to have in here. People seem to appreciate it. So Persians have the extra HP on the dock, Dave. They have the better work rate in their TCs and their docks. Really need to make sure if you're Alexios that at the very least you're dominating water here, in my opinion.
It's going to be tough, though, if the Mongol player gets up faster than you, which they should with that additional boar, right? We see a lot of resources collected here for Vasco, and most of that is the hunt, as Vasco now finds one of those cows coming down and another rhino on the way. That's the second rhino plus the boar. That's so much food available. We could see an insane uptime here from Vasco. Alexios will have more resources available overall with the cow control and with the dock a little bit faster and the second fishing ship out faster. But Vasco is such a great player at taking advantage of all the timings, as we've seen in the previous sets.
Yeah, and it also, timings in this game can mean you use the timing advantage in one area to then put your opponent on the back foot there, switch to the next area, which on this map is perfect. Vasco, game one in the final, he's wondering, should he try and see if his opponent's paying attention? And Alexios is paying attention. And there is the evacuation. So players kind of know this is going to happen. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Because if you pressure on land, you're then going to potentially lose water. Persians should be really good at mixing those things. But something I remember Vasco da Gama doing was going galleys on water, and then also he would go archers on land. So neither civ really seen as like the best naval civilization here, or even the best archer civilization. But I mean, this isn't a low elo game, Dave. They're going to take advantage of every single age. We've seen the Dark Age matter a lot already, even with just the scouts. And now at this point, they're really going to need to make sure they take advantage of feudal age.
It's very interesting that Alexios is going to that backwood line. A lot of players will go to that. Actually, almost everybody goes to the forward one because the hunt is nearby. So that if they have to go for a tower, it'll kind of protect both things. But Alexios is like, screw it. I'm just going to this back area. He might be relying just on the cows, the goats, and then also the water. He thinks he's going to win for the food supply. And he needs a lumber camp there.
Yeah,
Alexios, your villagers are... Ooh.
He's microing Dave, and I'm going to assume that he thinks he built that lumber camp, but those villagers are walking home, and he's still microing, and that is not good for Alexios, but that is. So now he's going to... Eventually, he's going to see these vills come back onto his screen here.
That's so demoralizing, man, when you look at your TC and then you see that.
I mean, that's funny. It's funny. It's maybe relatable for many. That's not good. That's not good. That's a lot of idle time there for Alexios. But he did kill the scout. Vasquez doesn't have the vision now. And surprise, surprise, Dave, we're going to have galleys from both players here. So I was wondering if we'd see that. But I suspected that these players were practice partners. And now at this point, they will have got to really see what the opponent's going to do too. So galley war on water. Actually going to be scouts from Vasco on land, which Alexios doesn't know about yet.
I actually found it really fascinating that Vasco went up without Loom. And Alexios, even though he saw individual villagers with his scout in Dark Age, maybe didn't click the vills to see if Loom was in. Or maybe didn't feel like he wanted to lose that extra HP and lose that control over the early stages of the game as the scouts come in now. The spearmen are in here, and this is a rough position. It's just that the classic early aggression from Vasco, the control over the map, and it's smothering.
And this is Mongols for you as well. He's used the Mongols so perfectly here. Could that be 2 Vill picks? He's going to get the second villager pick here.
Oh, it's
Wait,
in!
no, he didn't get it. Is that the same Vill? I don't know if that's the same Vill that came out, but all the scouts go down. The villager survives, and actually Alexios really made out there.
And even kills the goat. He says, you're not taking this. And that villager, he just made a leap of faith into the town center, managed to survive one. Basically, no one should have survived that. And Vasco, again, 3 times on this map now, has gone for that huge full wall. But we still have the scout alive from Alexios. He's going to know exactly what the plan is here from Vasco. And even though he did lose a villager with Persians, that's kind of fine because your town center production is making up for that. The idle TC here from him, though, is not fantastic. 47 seconds already.
Hey, you're producing out of the barracks, the range, the stable, the TC, the dock. It's messy. It's very easy to forget to build a house here. Now, Vasco's waiting. I think he is expecting his opponent to be going for galleys as well. Alexios actually has the galley advantage right now, but you have to get the galleys there. And this is just the brilliance of Vasco. He knows that he's going to have the numbers by the time Alexios makes it over. And I like the walls from Vasco. I think that's quite smart. I think it makes it difficult for your opponent. And look at that quick wall there from Alexios. If there was any question on if these guys were going to be prepped and ready here, I mean, look at that.
Remember the galley micro on that Islands game from Alexios? It was superb. It was amazing in that game against Cosrow, but this is not great for him. He forgot about this wood line, walling up everything else, and he's now sending Spearman over to support against the scouts, but we know Vasco's not going to give this up. He's going to go for that villager and try and save as much HP as possible. That Vill dies. Is being out-popped on water by the galleys, though, because it's 2 dock production here and already 7 galleys on the water from Alexios.
I love the transitions from Vasco. Sorry, Dave. The transitions are so clean. And he's utilizing extra hunt from the Mongols behind this. There's deer that he could take. And he's milled that. And that's going to be another nice snipe there from Vasco. 3-1 eco KD. But as we've said with Vasco all tournament, it's not just the snipes. It's not just the kills, but it's the eco. And the fact that he's taken every deer, he's on his way to Castle Age right now. It's going to make him feel pretty good. Having said that, though, he's got to kill his opponent's fish right now because Alexios just killed his. Alexios has a lot of galleys out there, and Alexios could be up to Castle Age here soon.
Yeah, as quick as you are, if Alexios does wall, you can't let him get a free fish boom going. You have to stop that. And that's exactly what he's going to try and do. He's still controlling the land areas, but we can look at the villager count right now. It's 33 to 33. Now we have a little bit of a Castle Age advantage for Vasco, but if he lets the fish boom happen, that advantage is going to disappear.
Oh, that is such a creative play there from Vasco. He's used his galleys to kill the spears, and now his scouts can find another villager pick. That is so smart. And Alexios still hasn't clicked up, Dave. I mean, this is... I thought maybe the resources would stabilize a little bit for him. Having some fish, being Persians. He's going to drop a market now to click up. But how is Alexios going to be in Castle Age at 18 minutes on the back of a scout rush here?
Yeah, that's actually wild. I mean, he's still got some of the scouts alive, too. He's killed so many villagers by just running around with these weakened scouts. Alexios has been trying to fight them off with vills. It's not working. He's been trying to chase them with spearmen. It's not working. Vasco's paying attention all the time. And I guess the question now, when he gets to Castle Age, what do you transition into here for Vasco? Are you going to go for a greedy eco expansion or step lances, or is your opponent just going to resign? What?
I mean, there's your answer, Dave. Alexios just says, okay, GG. I haven't clicked up to Castle Age, and maybe that says how much he assumes his opponent can do with the position. Listen, if there's ever a map for you to assume that step lancers are going to ruin you, this is it. I could see why you would think it's inevitable that Vasco is going to kill him here. Would have liked a little bit more fight with Alexios, but I do want to circle back to what I said. If we think these are the players we think they are, sometimes when these two players we are guessing they are face off, it's like one player's strategy works. The other guy's like, okay, he got me. And then the other guy's like, the next time I got to make sure my strategy works and I have to get the better of him. So here we have, there was a glimpse of the UK viewing party. Here we have the US viewing party. And now we are back to the draft. But that was I don't want to say it's a stomp from Vasco because I felt like the game could have gone on longer. But it was clean play. And he used his number one civ, the Mongols. Game number 2. And we've got Alexios against Vasco da Gama. Now, the first game was a very short one, and we speculated on civs, and we thought it was going to be Chinese for Alexios. He goes Byzantines, and we have Vasco da Gama going Italian. So maybe with some time to think about it, Dave, do both players seem to think that water control on a map with no fish is actually really important?
I mean, maybe they both watched that game yesterday and said, like, Chinese just don't have the time, right? Chinese just don't have the time to get into the units that they want. At least Alexios thought that. And he goes for Byzantines. And then Vasco was looking at his civilizations and maybe thinking Chinese do have the time if Alexios plays them. And I need something a little bit different from Magyar, something that can pressure that middle woodline zone.
Yeah, I mean, there's still going to be maps where the Magyars and the Chinese can be strong. And these guys are planning long-term here. But I was not expecting Italians versus Byzantines. Now, if I'm remembering correctly from the history lessons we had this week, I believe Alexios Komnenos is from the Byzantine Empire. So maybe it's a bit of a home field advantage here for Alexios. So I would assume that the player who's playing as Alexios does not really care about that much. So, okay. To explain the struggles of the map, there's so many exposed areas on land for you. The double berries, the areas where you have to farm, which isn't around the TC, the golds there. But towards the middle is the bigger wood lines where most players tend to go. And then there's also the stones. And yeah, I mean, I'm no longer expecting a scout rush. I actually think we might see these guys like wall up their vills, or maybe make spearmen against scouts and go like double, triple dock with this matchup we have.
Dude, when you think about this map, though, you think about spearmen numbers a lot of the time, regardless of whether there's a ton of scouts. The spearmen are still good, harassing everything. Byzantine spearmen, the cheaper spearmen, could be really, really useful here. If you want to go water and then keep your main base safe, the spearmen could be amazing. And then as soon as you see the mad archers, you go into cheaper skirmishers. and you just keep yourself safe, keep that control. But look at this, 2 villagers coming forward, and the walls are already going up from Vasco, but Alexios was tracking that, and Alexios has already walled in his 2 woodline villagers on this side. It's going to get difficult, though, because that lumber camp's in a really awkward position for him.
Okay, so Vasco brought Vils forward to try and disrupt his opponent's woodline, because more Vils are going to come over here eventually. And so he initially, I think, wanted to fight there. He researched Loom. I was pretty sure he wanted to kill those 2 Vils. Won't get the kills now. Nice job from Alexios.
He's sending another one. He's sending another one around the other side. Like, he's going to fully wall in this lumber camp.
Unless the Vils chop through in time. I actually think those villagers are very close to chopping through that tree. Villagers on the way. Palisade's going to go down, and then there's a villager here too. So Vasco being a lamer here, and I actually really think this is strong here. He has got some perfect walls around that lumber camp.
Yeah, and there's no straggler trees really around UTC other than those reeds, and the reeds only have 50 wood on them. So the wood, lack of wood for Alexios is going to be absolutely brutal when he gets up to feudal age and he's trying to drop those production buildings or maybe a dock or something. 2 on wood there just isn't enough.
I think, though, honestly, I think you can just bring however many vills you're going to send that lumber camp anyways and take down one of the palisades, and it's still kind of okay. I could be wrong. Obviously, there's a lot of other things happening right now. But, yeah, you just take out the one palisade, and you should still be able to use that lumber camp. It will just be very inefficient, and it will be a target for Vasco if he knows you're going to be doing that.
Absolutely excellent unit control from both players so far. They're both trying to get the hill with the scout. We see Vasco once again falling behind on that scout war, but he's got the villagers to help, and Alexios takes it out. And now there's 2 villagers against 3. All of them have loom, and suddenly Alexios has managed to get himself trapped.
That's a problem. Yeah, it was looking good for Alexios. Now let's see, because you got to build the palisade wall too. This could actually be a trap for Alexios if Vasco isn't careful. It seems like Vasco, though, is repairing enough, will kill that villager. And Vasco still having a pretty reasonable click up to the next stage. Now, hold on, another palisade. Okay. Oh!
He lost the wood from that, though. That's actually not great. He lost the wood from that. He still has the scout alive. I think it's 1 hit away from death. If it's 2 hits, that's great for him. But I believe it's 1 hit. And
he's going to act like he's going to attack and go back.
Be running away. Oh, it's 2 hits.
He's like,
nice.
He's like, I'm going to attack you. No, I'm not. I'm going to attack you. No, I'm not. He's going to use the scout. Know that Vasco doesn't have the barracks up yet, which is good for him because he doesn't have the wood for anything himself right now. And I do think at this point, Alexios, you got to go home, right? I think you chased that a little bit too far. There's the barracks for Alexios. And we're foolish here. We think they're going to have an easy Dark Age, think we can talk about the bonuses. But no, this has very much become about wood control with the Vil fighting. I would say pre-walling in your wood lines, the biggest key right now on this map. Vasco's doing it, and we'll probably see Alexios choose to do it on his wood line back at home.
Yeah, and Vasco's gone for a stable. Byzantines are just going to keep spamming out Spearmen. I guess the harassment on the woodline was just to slow down the wood eco a little bit, maybe prevent this amount of Spearmen coming out. Vasco will choose to try and run around with scouts once again. But it feels like Alexios, if he keeps the Spearmen production up, if he keeps them in the right spot, should be relatively safe. And he should have a more comfortable position here than Vasco once those scouts aren't able to find any damage. He also has his starting scout giving him a ton of information. He knew that stable was coming so early.
This is a problem, though. Like, these palisades have made his life so annoying. Like, and it's very easy if you go to just wall it, that you accidentally wall using your opponent's walls and forget about it. He deletes one and then shows up. So I still think you got to wall it up. But I just looking at that, thinking that somehow benefit in some way, shape, or form. I agree, though. I like the decision from Alexia to pretty much just point towards the defensive spears here.
Okay, so T90's mic is bugging out a little bit. We'll get that fixed in a second here, folks. But the scouts are still coming in. The spearmen are still roaming around the mill at the front of Vasco's base, and Vasco really unable to find any damage with those scouts. The woodline was really annoying early for Alexios, but he's managed to figure it out, and there's the walls on this side. As the archer range goes up, Vasco will find that. However, there's a spear. We're waiting in there in defense. Alexios has done a fantastic job. We have to question, when does the dock come in for Alexios? Because I think the dock could be a really, really valuable addition. And he's going for the big, big walls in the north. Huge walls from him. Skirmishers coming on to the field. Spearman still in defense. And he's trying to lock down the entire northern area of this base and wall off 1/4 of the map. However, there are archers.
Yeah, to me, this is a little ambitious, but when Vasco's on the other side, maybe you want to play this safe. And being the Byzantines, if you get the walls down, they have the HP. Maybe you'll be okay. Gates there from Alexios. He does have skirms. He does have spears. These are all counter units to what's coming his way. But yeah, I agree. It definitely seems like Vasco's the aggressor here. Alexios maybe a little bit out of character, playing defensive, but he should be able to hold from this, Dave. He could complete these walls now. The spearmen are there, the skirms are there, and those walls can complete towards the edge of the map.
Yeah, just a lot of patience with the villager movements here from Alexios, right? Thank you, Switzerland, for also watching Hidden Cup 5. We're glad to have you. And the scouts have found their way into this side, but there's so many spearmen. Vasco might have overcooked here a little bit. He's trying to look for those opportunities, really trying to utilize his impressive micro. But Alexios is always there with defensive units.
Yeah, to those watching in Florida for the U.S. viewing party, please be careful venturing outside the facility. You may end up like that spearman we just saw go down. It didn't help Alexios to lose another defensive unit. Vasco still is denied the walls, but he always has more units, right? He always has the spears. He always has the skirms ready. So, you know, we haven't seen the walls really pan out this Hidden Cup on this map. But I'm not ready to give up on him because he's Byzantines, and he can always just make more units.
How on earth does he have 600 more resources collected? Please, someone explain that to me.
Because he doesn't have 16 villagers trying to build walls. That is impressive. I agree with you. It is also the pro of having your villagers work. Vasco has been great all Hidden Cup, just focusing on the Vill efficiency. Still waiting for Alexios to really have that moment, that archer moment, that good moment. Oh boy. Well, that's better. Oh no! Oh, disaster!
It would have been better. You let him die. His death at least would have bought you something. Now there's nothing. He opened the wall to try and save himself, and he wasn't thinking about the Empire. He wasn't thinking about, you know, the friends at home. He's sacrificed himself for absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate he didn't know the scouts were there. If he would have had an extra second, he would have been okay. Again, Alexios just trying to play defensive here with the Byzantines. And thus far, the aggression from Vasco has paid off. He might go back for that villager. You have to say, resources looking good for Alexios. The walls are panning out. Like, he actually has completed most of the walls. It seems like he might be able to be in cast stage a little bit faster in theory, but we have the next decision from Vasco, Dave. And he says, I know what to do against palisade walls on Mudflow. He might have even picked the Italians for this reason, and he's going to go for docks right now.
God, he's just so annoying with these scouts, isn't he? Every single time he sees an exposed villager, until the very second that spearman arrives, he's attacking it. And he might even kill this one.
Quick wall. Quick wall. Quick wall.
What? Gets him.
So it's 5 eco kills here from Vasco and Feudal. He's got 2 docks. He's going to be making galleys now. And res collected's looking pretty nice for Vasco. Vasco's had full control. First game was 18 minutes. And now Alexios seemingly looking for an answer. You know, just as a side combo here, Dave, I got to say, Alexios that made it into the finals was aggressive, right? He tried to find aggression. He tried to make it happen. We haven't seen the aggressive Alexios so far in Hidden Cup 5 finals.
Oh, he's got Spearman attacking a galley. Now he's getting a little bit He's getting a little bit curious about what damage he can do in his opponent's base, and he comes into the farming eco, which is good disruption. But remember what we looked at about 2 minutes ago when he had 500 food in the bank and Vasco had like 150. Now Vasco is up to the castle age first because this farming is absolutely insane for this map. As now 2 docks are being added from Alexios, and he's about to click up to the castle age, doesn't have the second building. So even more delay, just things aren't going his way.
Yeah, it just hasn't been his day so far, right? That's a big part of competition is when the level's so high, is everything going to click for you on the day? And Alexios does, I mean, he does a great job not to lose more here. This could have been so much worse for him. He dropped some stone walls. He will click up to Castle Age here soon. And there he goes. So, you know, the thinking right now for Alexios is if you could get into fires with the Byzantines could dominate the middle. So I like that. I think Vasco's going to need demos with his galleys, but we are definitely seeing the war galley upgrade from both in Castle Age.
Yeah, the difficult thing here for the galleys is there's not a lot of room to maneuver. However, in Vasco's favor, if it is a fire versus galley battle, he can just toss demos in to those choke points in front, right? And then have the damage from behind as another quick gate comes down there from Vasco to save the villager, and he saves the villager. This is unbelievable.
It's dirty, dude. It is dirty, this Vasco guy. He'll kill all the skirms. I mean, I'm pretty sure Alexios knew with just one spear, his days were numbered out there.
The villagers are weak on the woodline. Oh, man, he's going to have to run from that. He paid such a high price for that woodline. Now he has to abandon it.
So, he walled to secure the map, and the wood was the most important thing, and often is on Mudflow. And 24 minutes in, Alexios again taps out. Vasco da Gama able to bring the level he brought this whole tournament. And either it's Vasco being at 100%, Alexios maybe being a bit below that. Maybe it's the nerves. Maybe it's the stress. Maybe Vasco is simply better. But Vasco with the dream start here to our final with 2 very quick wins. Bit curious to see what we'll see Civ-wise here because the Koreans weren't even picked actually from either player. And we've seen the Koreans win very frequently there. I wonder if Vasco da Gama instead wants to go with the Bohemians. I could see that, but he might want to save that. And we have a very interesting Civ matchup here on Cup game number 3. And when it comes to the guessing competition later on, you're trying to guess who these players are. We did not change Alexios' color. It is game 3. Things have not gone well for him. So he has now changed his color in game, which to me further confirms who this player might be, Dave. But it's Japanese against Dravidians. The map is Cup. And honestly, these civs are both flexible on water. They're both flexible towards infantry and archers. This is going to be a very even civ matchup.
Yeah, Dravidian's a very GL-esque pick as well, if we're thinking about it. Not really something that we've seen maybe someone like Leary play very often, although it is a great archer civ, as you mentioned, and lots of eco bonuses trending towards that. Japanese is also a super solid pick on this map. You could go for the 2 militia drush or maybe the men-at-arms if you're feeling particularly aggressive. You could just play water too with your higher HP fishing ships, or you could play the archers or something like that. You're saving wood on the lumber camps, on the mining camps, so that's wood you can put into those early builds and get that map control, get that aggression early on here. But last time, remember Vasco in the semifinals making scouts and fires against double dock fire ship production from his opponent. He was making scouts to counter ships.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think we could see that here. Both civilizations aren't known for having great long-term stable units, but scouts are scouts. They give you vision. Vasco used scouts wonderfully in both games so far. So I'm not going to argue against that, but I do think it feels a little bit more natural to wall on this map than others. So my guess is we're definitely going to see an early dock. And on this map, it then comes down to where are you going to dock? I always think that, if you're going to play water long term, you're probably going to want to dock the bigger water area. But players have instead decided to dock between the player bases, which helps you if your opponent's going to be sending scouts to your base or sending archers and spearmen across. It just gives you so much protection and so much coverage over the immediate area between the bases. But we'll find that answer out now. It looks like Alexios is going to dock on this side. sent 2 villagers, which makes me think he...
So he's going to gather
maybe
with them, yeah.
Yeah, that, or he wanted to use the dock as part of to get the pop space with Dravidians, and he realized that the dock builds slower than a house, and he needed to rush that down.
Oh,
I
he's
think
done the
that
math?
might have been
It looked like it was just on time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Nice call out. It's just on time there with the Dravidians. So really, really solid job. And there's the first fishing ship on the way from Alexios. So even faster than the Japanese. As the second boar now comes in for Vasco. And he continues to push the deer. But the scout is coming forward here from Alexios. And it's going to find the dock villager. Doesn't do anything. Just finds the dock. And then keeps roaming around.
If that's me, I attack that dock. And I tell my opponent, hey, I know it's here. You know, just a little attack signal like, hey, I'm ready now. I'm not going to be defensive anymore. Now, in my case, I would definitely be defensive. But Alexios should be. Yeah, I am a pest. That's all I've got, dude. That's all I've got. But then when people realize I've got no...
Dude, attacking a dock is like sitting in front of the goalie and waving your stick around in their eyes. It's just annoying.
Listen, all right? You got to work with what you can, all right? And sometimes that attack signal, that could be one scout attacking a dock. That could be militia. You know, you got to freak your opponent out. This is the finals. I don't know if Vasco da Gama has a lot of reason to be afraid right now, but just saying, maybe Alexios would let him know he knows he's there, because Vasco da Gama does not know where Alexios is currently fishing himself.
Let's take a look at the timings. Should be 1 second faster. Here for Alexios, and it's gonna be really nice when he hits the feudal age and gets that extra 200 wood. If he wants to go for the water control, it's actually a little bit faster from Vasco.
Yeah, a little bit faster from Vasco here. I think just the 3 seconds of TC idle time from Alexios was the problem. So now it's like you're gonna get all this extra wood if you're Dravidians when you hit feudal, but you kind of have to pre-plan your steps here. So you still have to have the wood for the second dock if you're going to do that, or the barracks. It feels like a second dock would be natural, but we're seeing a barracks from Vasco da Gama. So barracks from Vasco back at home, and Alexios bringing Vils to the middle, telling me it will be a bit more water play for him here on Cup.
A couple extra hits there for Alexios too. The 3 seconds actually might matter for the feudal age scout upgrades, but the 2 villagers are going across with another dock. Barracks is coming up, and is it going to be like just stable again? Is this going to be a repeat of the game that Vasco played yesterday, where there's a forward dock, a back dock, 2 dock fire galley production, and he wins because he has 3 or 4 scouts helping to attack the ships?
I think the thing that's easy to forget right now is that Alexios is going to have so much more wood in the bank than we realize. He gets 400 wood now, or 400 wood. So he scouted the fact his opponent is going for land army. He can make ships to kill the fish. And now he should be able to know, I need a barracks. And if I make the barracks, I can make spears. Now, I'm concerned because I'm not seeing the barracks yet, but we are seeing some walls. He will ultimately... well, you would assume save these fishing ships. Vasco's being the freaking worst. Vasco da Gama. He's not dominating he's not exploring the seas in the way that Vasco da Gama actually did, but he's doing it in his own way here in Hidden Cup. And now runs back. And yeah, Dave, it is scouts. He's sticking to what works. Scouts and spears here for Vasco.
Yeah, he did notice that second dock a little bit earlier this time around, and that dock isn't as forward as the one was in the previous set. So it's a little bit easier to kind of mass your fire galleys. Here, as Vasco now goes for a dock in the southern area, he's going to try and take control there, and his scouts have shown themselves to Alexios. Alexios is getting a lot of chip damage in there with the fires. Not as great of a start this time for Vasco with these scouts as it was in the semifinal.
There are going to be spears out there for Alexios. The spears out there. Vasco choosing to use his scouts on water is precisely what he had done in the semi. But I wonder how much of that in the semi was due to the scouts and how much of that was due to the fact that his opponent didn't make spears right away. Because we're going to have some spears coming to the middle, which I don't recall happening. And now your scouts can't be anywhere close. The spears will actually help out a bit against the ships as well. And Alexios scouted this. He adapted to it pretty nicely. He's got more production on water, and as long as he's walled at home, these scouts might not have a big payoff here for Vasco da Gama. I think the position's not bad for either player, but if I had to pick a position from here, I would definitely pick the position of Alexios.
That galley being added in is super interesting too. Like, what serious value is that galley gonna add for you, other than like sniping maybe a repair villager? But it doesn't even have fletching.
I think he's doing it because Vasco is using the Japanese fish to block a lot of these shots, Dave. I think that's the reason. I do think continuing with fires, mixing in a demo is the safe play. And oh my god, the micro continues from Vasco. Right, the galley hasn't done too much. The scouts are contributing. The spears all went down. And while the scouts will go down as well, with one dock production, Vasco's been able to stay somewhat relevant on water here. And he's added fish over there this entire time. Really good play from Vasco da Gama.
That's just a great call out, right? You know your opponent's attention is fully fixed on that top pond area, the marsh area. He knows he can get away with just adding a dock, adding 3 fishing ships, and that's really helping his res collective. Once again, 400 ahead. He's just consistently ahead at all times in terms of res collected. Now, I don't think that includes the free 200 wood from the Dravidians, but still, super solid play here from Vasco.
I think Alexios feels like he has to continue to invest here because he has the fish. So he will continue to do so, finally finding the fights we thought he could find due to his initial production. But Vasco repairing very consistently, still mixing in the scouts. I'll be honest, though. The first group of scouts excited me. The second group of scouts even excited me. But as the demo connects there, I'm not sure if additional scouts at this point is the way you want to spend your additional res collected. This is going to be nice clear up here from Alexios. And we have 3 more scouts from Vasco da Gama that are going to be on the field. I guess maybe he's going to go find fishing ship kills, but he shouldn't be able to break into Alexios' base, provided Alexios finishes the walls.
That galley has added so much more value than I ever thought it would. And that's only because his micro with it has been incredible. But yeah, this is the problem, right? The scouts are here. You had to wall to that TC.
Don't let the scouts run through here, Alexios. It's fine. It was all part of the plan. He protects himself. Now, the fishing ships are very weak from before, which is probably why Vasco decided to make more scouts. I'm loving how Vasco continues to add the scouts because he's so good with them, right? He clearly is able to get a lot of value from them. And it must just be so annoying. It feels like Alexios is spending half of his time trying to deal with scouts, and so he can't really think about being aggressive in the normal way he would.
I mean, he's so good with them, but at some point, they're just not good against what Alexios is making, right? And he hasn't been able to snipe the fish because Alexios has been pulling them away. Now, both players thinking about going up to Castle Age. I hate the fact that Alexios has still left the front of his town center open.
Agreed.
When it just seems like such an easy thing to wall off against a scout nerd on the other side. But he is going for a market. He does have the spearman chasing. Of course, Vasco would pull those scouts away at the exact last second from the spearman. And he's going to go up to the Castle Age fairly soon here.
So, something Alexios doesn't know right now is that his opponent has been fishing on the other side. Now, I don't know how important the fish are, really. That'll run out eventually. But it is something that Vasco's been able to do.
There's a lot of fires in that dock.
Ooh,
here they go.
Yeah, fires are going to come back on water. That's actually really nice, though. I think if Vasco there in an ideal world, he would have actually surprised his opponent with a demo. But to surprise his opponent with fires when his opponent already has fires, it's not that big a deal here for Alexios to just say, oh, okay, I queue up a couple extra fires myself. Here I'm going to go for the attack. But, oh, man, the scouts actually, just the distraction there, sacrificing themselves. Nice job, Vasco.
Find someone who loves you as much as Alexios loves this one galley. That thing has survived a lot.
Yeah, he's let the fires go down, but that galley, man, he's going to micro it. That's the type of unit we expected from Alexios today, right? We thought it was going to be, like, ranged units. Haven't seen a ton of them today. Demo, good micro. First upgrade we're going to see from both players has to be War Galley, in my opinion, to upgrade the ships. Nice job from Alexios to still keep those fishing ships alive against this nerdy micro from Vasco. Vasco da Gama, though, tons of wood to work with, Dave. It feels like he's probably just going to be happy to drop his TCs and head towards late game. We have the Berry Brigade.
Looks like a cereal.
We have the Berry Brigade, I assume, at the USA viewing party here. That's what those shirts were earlier. Looks like a children's TV show or something.
True, dude.
It looks like it's like I watched that right after Blue's Clues or something. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to see some Navy continue here from both players. And obviously, because it's Vasco da Gama, he's going to continue with the scouts. But now Pikeman upgrade comes in from Alexios and a second barracks. I like this. I also like how both players are prioritizing their eco right now.
Yeah, Lightcap is in. Husbandry's coming. He's going to find himself a villager. But 3 town centers from both. So good eco expansion here as Pikemen are now on the way, at least the production. And I love to see the eco upgrades actually coming in. Because in some of these sets, we've seen that second wood upgrade delayed until Imperial Age. Actually, a surprising amount of the sets. Players are just so focused on other things. But forward siege for Vasco.
This is going to be the first time we see the Bosal upgrade this entire series, right? These games have not been long, so they're not really in the habit of researching it at this point. Uh-oh, there's the monk. Monk starts to convert here. Now, losing a villager wouldn't be too bad if you can kill the monk. And the monk's going to back away. There's now pikes coming over. There's fires coming over. Alexio snipes the monk, and Vasco da Gama showed himself a little too early here, in my opinion. He definitely wanted to attack with this, though. Look how close the buildings are to his opponent's base.
It's actually uncanny how similar this game has played out to the semifinal, where Vasco played this exact same style. Because remember where that monastery was? Remember where the siege workshop was in the semifinal? Exactly the same spot. He's played in the scouts as well. The only difference is that Alexios has had phenomenal control. And he's managed to negate a lot of the value that Vasco got from the earlier semi.
I agree with you there. And Vasco has not transitioned into his food eco in the same way he did in that semifinal because of the resistance from Alexios. We're also, remember, it was all in Knights from Khmer from Vasco in the semifinal. Well, now he's Japanese. So long-term, the Knights might not be something he can plan with. I'm noticing no Bowsaw, no horse color for Vasco. Could be a problem, but the Lycav run in. I actually don't think this is... Ooh, losing the Mangonel would be horrible, but I don't think this is going to be that bad for Alexios if he has pikes on the way. He got his fires converted, Dave. He got his fires converted, but he did save the Mangonel, but everything else went wrong here.
That was a pretty clutch attack ground, though, on the Mangonel, and he's managed to keep it alive, and the pikemen are here. Can he repair with more? Can he repair with more? Vasco's trying to take it out. He does it. He does. Oh, no.
That's just... If you're Alexios, you're just like, is this what this day is going to be? Is this what this day has become? Like, Vasco just able to have a little bit more. But I see in the stone count rise up for Alexios. He might see a castle here shortly. He still has pikes. He still can go for siege defense. Vasco's taking control now with the attacks. This is a close game we expected from this final. We just didn't expect the first two would be so landslidey. Those light cav thinking about diving through, but they know there's pikemen there now. Would be a really nice time for Vasco da Gama to consider like a guard tower upgrade and some forward towers, or the redemption upgrade on the monks. I think both those things could help.
This is such an awkward position here for Alexios as he tries to get an attack round, but Vasco has already dodged around 3 attack rounds from Alexios with those light gav. It's just a weird spot. You can't run under the TC because the Mangonel is automatically attacking the middle there. So you have to go around the town center and approach from the sides. And then you have to try and prevent your pikemen from being converted.
What's happening? There's so much happening. It's just not enough defense for Alexios. Vasco continues to just run circles around Alexios here. And the siege is taking out the TC. And this Mangonel as well is going to go down. And Vasco da Gama looks like he's prepped to maybe be able to win this game. We're going to have a castle from Alexios. But we might have our first doubt sighting in the finals. There's no way this castle goes up, Dave. Surely there's no way this castle goes up.
Well, the fires are still there, attacking the mangonels. Can they get converted? I don't know. There's more pikemen on the way. There is a demo, I think, coming out of that dock. Attack round doesn't work. Oh, no!
Vasco does kill his own light cav, but he was able to use the
demo.
Demo's not going to get in close enough, Dave. Demo kills one monk. The castle is denied. Alexios, disaster of a finals for him. He's down 10 villagers. His castle's denied at 60%. Doubt confirmed.
Oh, he was doing such a good job. He was doing such a great job early of denying all of the pressure here from Vasco, and now he needs to get value with this mangonel. He gets one. He sends all the rest of the villagers. This is a massacre.
That was disgusting. That micro there from Vasco was disgusting. He pretty much had already won the game with his position, but he wins the game with even more style. Vasco da Gama goes up 3-0 here, is now 1 win away from winning Hidden Cup 5.
I mean, what can you say, right? It's just it's a carbon copy of his approach in the semifinals. It works so well there. He did it again here. Alexios stood up against it a little bit better than Gajimata, but like, man, you just lose one fight and suddenly you're in the worst position ever. And you just have to wonder, how did I get here? Vasco's that good.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're waiting for Vasco to ever show any sign of worry, and it just hasn't happened so far.
Yeah, he's got to get some wins, man. He has to delay until that pizza gets there. Come on, Alexios. Pizza's on the way, bro. It's not there yet.
Yeah. Of course, after the finals, folks, if you didn't already know this, we reveal exactly who these players are. So hopefully we get more games out of this final. Vasco da Gama determined to make this a speed run. We've got Lithuanians for Alexios here. Game number 4, and we have Malians then for Vasco da Gama. And this map, Dave, it's all about flexibility. Both these civilizations are really strong with that. You've got the water towards the north, which players will usually expand to. And then there's also going to be resources towards the south as well. So lots of areas to go. The key for me for Alexios is be aggressive. Stop expecting aggression and then responding to it. Be aggressive yourself. I expect to see something, either a double dock on water. Maybe we'll see, the food in the south be utilized. Maybe some scouts, some fast spearmen. That would make sense. From Vasco, this guy's usually the one coming to land, isn't he? You think of how he played in the previous game. He went for one dock and then scouts. Game 1, scouts with some water. Game 2, scouts with some water. He's always had land aggression. So I would expect, like, with the Malians, I could see archers being an option. But he's been consistently aggressive, and I expect him to be aggressive here. He's got no reason to doubt himself right now.
From Alexios, I just want to see him guard the villager or put the villager on that little island at the top and wall it in early, because if you place the dock on the marshland, you can't really quick wall on the sides of that. And your opponent might be able to kill your villager with the scout. But right now, Vasco, he doesn't seem too concerned about stopping that villager coming out early. He wants to just push in as many zebra or ostrich as he possibly can and get a very, very quick up to feudal age here.
The thing I was curious about on this map is, will we see anybody just not dock in the north at all in Dark Age?
It kind of seems like it.
Yeah, because like you can achieve a really good res collected, even if you don't have fish on this map, because of how much food is in the south. And I know, I am 97.1% certain I know who Vasco da Gama is. And while he is usually taking fish these days, and most players will, I could see Vasco just choosing to send like 10 vills down to the south and build tons of mills there for the extra hunt and the extra fish. But it does seem like we've got some villagers wandering to the shoreline. It's just, do not forget about the food down there towards the south, people. That's a big addition to this year's high tides.
Ooh, this could be bad. This could be bad for Vasco. We see Alexios scouting this area with his scout.
Oh, man.
He's looking for the villager. He might turn around soon because he's about to hit the edge of the map, but the scout is coming along from Vasco as well. Alexios did not wall in his villager. and Vasco has not either. But Vasco will have the scout nearby to support. However, could the same thing happen to Vasco here that happened to Alexios yesterday? He walls himself in.
Yeah.
Dang.
Just a little, like, I know that the 3-0 is because of the dominance from Vasco, but honestly, sometimes you need a good break. And Alexios has been a little unlucky. Like, he's done the right thing to scout that, but he was there too early. And then the pathing on a scout went a little bit above the dock, which gave Vasco an extra second or two to react. It's not something you're going to win the game with, though. You got to win this series through good, solid, consistent play. And so, again, I'm excited to see what Alexios will plan on. But he knows his opponent has docked. His opponent hasn't necessarily confirmed that he is docked in the north, so I'm sure he assumes it.
Yeah, similar up times, likely coming from both of them. Loom is already in for Alexios, and he's weakened that scout to a point where he doesn't really care about the villager up there now. She can defend herself, basically, with Loom.
Yep.
And now he should be clicking up after this villager. There we go. There's the feudal age up time. Faster than Vasco. So for the first time here, we might see the pressure applied from Alexios first, rather than Vasco.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lithuanians just have that potential here. Vasco will have to recognize that. And so just thinking through the bonuses, the Malians can spend... They can create so much, so many buildings because of all the wood savings. So if you think you're going to be behind on water, you could go for the second dock. And then if you're expecting scouts, possibly go defensive spears. I think it's still realistic to make a barracks as well as the archer range and additional dock if you wish to. But no vills on gold, at least right now, tells us that Vasco da Gama is not going to contest on water at all here. And okay, never mind. As I say that, he's going to go over to gold and change his mind.
He also saw the second villager coming up. So he knows that Alexios is, basically. There's no other reason for that villager to be over there. And he almost engaged with it with his scout. Now that vill can collect a little bit of food from the shorefish, which is going to be nice. It can help to repair, but it's basically to support the ships that are on this side. As now Alexios gets the feudal age. Will he find this villager here from Vasco? He does. And Vasco's plans might have changed now with that feudal age timing. And the fact that the scout is there, Vasco needs to adapt.
Yep, Vasco's going to adapt. He also drops the barracks here. So he's thinking land, but should be advantage Alexios on water with the fires. This is a very fast uptime, and it makes it bad for Vasco because he wasn't expecting he wasn't expecting to have to adapt. He was expecting his initial game plan was going to be fine, but now at least good recognition from him to recognize he's going to lose water here.
Yeah, and it's just a couple galleys. So just planning on sniping fish, maybe sniping some of those villagers if possible, trying to run under every single game. This man is obsessed with goats. It's crazy.
I mean, listen, you got to do what you can to take advantages in this game. And if the TCs don't hit anything, which we've been saying since DE came out in 2019, we've hit a point now where players are just going to run right underneath there. Now, obviously, there is still danger in that. There's a couple people like, what do you mean? I lose my scout to TCs all the time. But there's ways to do it, and he's found that. Now, the galley addition there is interesting, Dave. He's going to have to be sneaky with that to try and kill the fish, but this is the start that Alexios wanted, dominating his opponent on water. Now he needs to ensure that he knows what his opponent will do on land, and he did scout that archer range. So I really like this from Alexios. Your plan now should be to go for a counter unit to the archers, and there's the range for skirmishers.
I just love the walls. The walls are sick, right? Khosrow had some big problems. He had a little bit more of an open map here, maybe one less wood line than Alexios did, at least forward to wall 2. But still, he didn't even attempt to go for any walls yesterday and got punished for it so hard, right? Could have easily walled to the edge of the map, didn't do it. And there was just endless mobility from his opponent, who was Alexios, and Alexios realized that, and he's going to go for the big walls to the sides.
Yeah, and I love how he says, okay, I've got fish. You're going to be sending something at me. All right, my turn to get the lead at the start of the game and then play defensive. It's like the roles are now reversed. And I think with the way this map is designed, Dave, Vasco, in order to come back, his best chance is actually to get villagers in the south with all the hunts and the food there. It's risky, but if you don't have fishing ships and you don't have an army to contest anywhere right now, I think that's definitely something that I'd like to see Vasco do here.
That galley is that that galley is just so, that's so much wishful thinking with that thing, right? Like, you're gonna run around. I mean, it takes what, 6 shots to snipe a fishing ship? You're just gonna run around with that galley forever and snipe fish? Like, come on, man.
I mean, you say that, but he has nothing else to do at the moment. No, he's probably not going to find the fishing ship kills. He's also not going to use those archers to find that villager kill from Alexios on the shoreline. But yeah, this comes back to Vasco's plan just not working out here.
And he's had to adapt. He's got all the units inside the building, so he's just expanding his eco, just kind of chilling. Now, Alexios didn't have to invest a lot on the water, and because of that, he's got a lot of excess gold. Might just need to go for that market, click up, and then try and get that Castle Age advantage.
Okay, so I love the wall, but this whole leave the berries exposed thing, I don't know if this is something to do with the next UK boy band, the Berry Patch, changing Alexios' opinion or something.
The exposed berries? I don't think that's a band.
But like, no, the Berry Patch, dude. What we saw earlier in the finals. That's what I'm thinking of, because it seems like Alexios doesn't want anything to do with these guys because these vills are so exposed. Like, now we're walling without the berries. You could wall between the wood line, and now the opponent comes in with something, and when you had all the time in the world to wall, there's aggression here from Vasco. Like, the start from Alexios was great, but now Vasco is able to get some damage in that he probably didn't think he was going to find, and he'll be happy to see that many villagers. Look at that many villagers. Talk about having to change your plan. Just brutal for Alexios right now.
Yeah, if you look at the idle eco time, it tells you a lot, right?
As he sends
now more villagers onto gold, he goes for the market now. He's going to try and force his way up. That market probably should have been up a long time ago. But he does have the fish. So that's six fishing ships bringing in food. And that's villagers that he can take off of food and put on the more important resources for himself, like wood or gold. And then he can maybe push back with the Malian or with the Lithuanians here.
Yeah, I think it's easy. Like, it absolutely, right? This is the highest level. This is the final. What we just saw there should not have happened, right? But he has the advantage, and it's easy for us, because of how good Vasco has been, to look at something like that, think that Vasco wouldn't make the same mistake, and just immediately assume, oh, okay, maybe Alexios is in trouble here.
You're not going back to the berries. You're just simply not, right? Like, you're not. You are.
I mean, Vasco's not assuming he is, because he'd have to be crazy to go back to the berries. But so maybe that's why he's going back to the berries. He's got skirms. He's adding some spears. He's got a couple skirmishers right there, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Vasco's going to find that pick off. But both players are going to be in Castle Age. It will be a faster Castle Age for Alexios. And kills an archer, loses 2 skirmishers.
They were going to die anyway. That's good value to even take a unit. I like the fact that he's house walling over here too. Like, he doesn't just have that single layer of palisade walls, right? He's got the houses behind, so it takes a long time for Vasco to break in. And if Vasco can't distract you at the back of your economy, and you can have the initiative for once, it feels like, in this set, just for once have the initiative, maybe you start to swing this whole thing around. And the skirms are coming from behind.
This could be a nice trap. This could be a really nice trap. The spears are going to be there. There's not many archers, Dave. Usually you can kill the spears here, but he's not going to get them. That's worth it. You kill the archers.
Yep.
The scouts actually get away, so maybe Vasco isn't actually that upset about it. But, okay, so I got to forewarn people here, right? Very important that people are informed. So we have a lot of viewers, okay? If the berry area of Alexios remains open, and he remains there with 10 villagers without walling it, I may scream, okay? I'm letting people know in advance that if that is a problem, I may be loud, okay? So we can continue on here. We've got double stable for both. But I am very concerned for Alexios as he drops the TC safely in the back behind his walls. That this aggression from Vasco could potentially be a problem for him.
Just still playing defensively again. I mean, I guess he's kind of forced into it because he went for the walls earlier. I guess he has the water, so you want to play defensive
he's
here.
got the water. Yeah.
But those knights need to be like in the back of Vasco's base. It feels like.
Yeah, he's got to make a move. He's got to have confidence.
Keep some army at home.
The skirms are going to try their best to kill these crossbows. The knights are going to attack these crossbows. That's enough crossbows, though, with Bodcanera to take good fights. And Alexios is running right into his opponent's army. The villagers will leave the berries. Alexios does not seem to have the army count right now. He deletes his gate, which now means scouts and knights can run through if Vasco wishes to do so. And a monastery now as well from Alexios. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only 5 crossbows. So Vasco can use those very well. And I say only 5, but on Vasco's hands, they're going to feel like 15.
Yeah.
He can use those very well, but still, at the end of the day, you still have an eco setup advantage. Even though you're behind a res collected somehow, you have an eco setup advantage. You have a timing advantage to everything. You have more knights on the field right now. You've got the monks coming out. You've got the water, too. You've got spinning knights over here.
Oh, man. And okay, here we go. Now, there's the monk. That monk wants a conversion.
Crossbow's out of position.
Crossbows go down. Monk did get sniped. Nice clear up here from Alexios. The fight looks even. He's on 2 TCs. And Dave, it's clear, right? You know, it hasn't gone as he would have wanted today. We've seen a better version of Alexios, but you just need that win, dude. You need to stabilize. And once you can stabilize and start to breathe a little bit and get the flow of the game down, we see players start to really sharpen up a little bit. And this is the moment for Alexios now. 7 knights, 2 TCs, good farming eco behind this, still the fishing ships. This is a nice position to be in.
And the res collected still better for Vasco. It's actually insane how consistent that is. Even when his opponent gets all the free resources on the map that were supposed to put you in front. He's still got a more consistent eco.
43 minutes of idle eco. That's actually not a lot for this stage of the game because it adds up every villager's idle time against 5 minutes and 41 seconds. I mean, you look around, Alexios is going to have some idles, but it's just Vasco is his workers are always working, and he's made it look so easy, this hidden cup, man. I mean, if he is who we think he is, he's made it look easy over the last year, and very unlucky from Alexios, actually. That was a fast conversion. And Vasco getting those relics
he was
now,
targeting the other knights.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was targeting the other knights and then he switched back to it. So it makes sense. But I mean, if you're a player, even though it makes sense, you still want to believe that it's a bug in the game or something, or that you're extremely unlucky, right? As the Bloodlines upgrade now comes in for Alexios. So they're going to have relatively even knights here. The forging advantage is there for Vasco, but Vasco is grabbing those relics and he's denying the Lithuanians player the extra attack. So it's already 3 relics in from Vasco. That's insane.
Okay, so this now just becomes a monk battle, actually, because neither player has leftover scouts, and both players are in the frame of mind of monk knight, monk knight, monk knight. Let's see how their conversions are. You got to get the conversions here if you're Alexios, and Alexios' monks are on the front. Every single monk gets killed. And Vasco has full map control now, and he's got 6 monks coming, and the TC for Alexios as well has to be abandoned. And the berry villagers! Why are you out here? They're going to go down as well. And Dave, Vasco, it just seems inevitable right now.
Inevitable, incredible. It's just the level of gameplay here. I don't know if we've ever seen it before in Age of Empires 2. The preparation, just the execution. He's making everybody else look bad.
Yeah. Lost 1 game, 2 games. I forget the whole tournament. I mean, Alexios lost 3 coming in here, had 12 wins, which is that's the tricky thing too. Is like Alexios is an incredible player. He made it to the finals for good reason, but the way Vasco is playing, if you were to have not seen the earlier games and the earlier rounds, you would maybe think they were in different class, but Alexios has been number 2 in Hidden Cup. He needs something. Good. He needs something. He's going to try and change things. He's defending where he can with his own monks. He's going to have knights to counterattack. Will Vasco react? And he knew, Dave, because he didn't see the knights, he was like, they must be coming. They're going to show up at some point. Great reaction from him, but still he's going to take losses to these knights.
Yeah, and this is what Alexios needed to be doing with those early knights with the Castle Age advantage. He needed those going forward, right? Instead, he was trying to counter the crossbows and stuff on the berries. Should have never been in that position in the first place, as he tries to reconvert the knights that were converted from him. He gets them both back, but now he has no faith on the monks, and Vasco will just dive under the town center with the +2 armor.
And this might be GG. This might be a 4-0 final here. Hidden Cup 5. We have a panic TC from Alexios behind this, and his knights are not armored in the same way. Vasco da Gama's +2 armor will mean that the TC will not kill those knights quickly. And if he has weak knights, he might even pull them back to those monks that are just waiting. Not the dream final for anybody except for Vasco da Gama here. If he runs through and kills those villagers, and the GG is called, Vasco da Gama is the champion of Hidden Cup 5, and Alexios congratulates him. A stomp of a final. And Alexios, just a beast of a player. Or, well, yes, that too, but Vasco, excuse me, a beast of a player.
I can't believe the level that Vasco brought here. I kept waiting to see if there was any cracks in the armor. Lost 2 games yesterday, and maybe there were some mistakes there, some extra greed, but in terms of execution, feels like it was only ever the strategic element of the game that he struggled, never the execution. He was doing everything right.
Yeah, I mean, and the theme of it all for Vasco was aggression today. And what I thought this was going to be was a back and forth, a defensive move into amazing counterattacks, but it was just offense from Vasco. And while he showed his ability to be defensive in the earlier rounds, he was always the player we were talking about, Dave. There were very few instances in this final where we were talking about Alexios setting the pace of the game. And maybe, is this fear of Vasco, if he believes he knows who Vasco da Gama is? Or what? I'm not sure. But here we had, game 2, it really hurts to know Chinese is on that draft, to know how good Chinese are on Mudflow, and to see Alexios try and play defense. I mean, that was also unlucky there. Very unlucky from him. Vasco, he said, why wall on Mudflow? Why wall? I can just play aggressive. I can play towards Navy. But clearly, whatever Alexios game planned for today, it just didn't work well against Vasco da Gama.
Yeah, some days you get a lot of luck. Some days you don't get any. It felt like Alexios didn't really get any of those luck elements. Example, that villager earlier, right? But at some point, you got to start making your own luck. And he was never the one pressuring. We said it over and over and over again. He was just responding the entire time. Vasco, once he gets a map position forward on your base, he's not going to give it up easy. He's going to keep running around with these scouts. He's going to keep attacking everything, like the fire galleys here. Making do with 1 dock production and is stable against double dock. It's crazy.
I love the lack of hesitation from Vasco da Gama in these types of instances. He's like, oh, I have a gap into your base? Okay, cool. I'm going to run in that now. There was a good defense from Alexios, but he lost his TC. Here is desperate to pop out there. He's never going to be able to find the kills there. Yeah, and we had a doubt castle in our grand final, and we hoped, we wanted to maybe believe, even though it didn't feel like the reality, that maybe Alexios was going to be able to turn it around. But I think Alexios felt second best very early on in the final. And I think that showed in some cases with his decision making. That, or the most difficult thing to really know about a player, maybe he wasn't himself today. Maybe he was himself every other day. This is sick micro from Vasco. He doesn't even need that. He doesn't even need that micro, and he does it anyways. But I know who Vasco da Gama is. I am very certain. And the thing about Vasco da Gama is that you see this level every single time he's playing the game right now, which there's not many people who could say that.
Yeah, it's a new level of Age of Empires 2, and everyone else just has to catch up, right? If it doesn't end up being the person we think it is, I am going to be shocked because there's a new god on the scene, basically, or maybe an old god returning to form. But how do you do anything? Well, he had everything he wanted, Alexios here. He had the full walls up with Lithuanians. He had the water control, equal military numbers, and one mistake of sending the villagers out to that berry area and not walling that off, he gets punished for it so hard. And then one little split second of not looking at your monks, they all disappear. That's part of that luck element that we were talking about. He didn't get any of it in his favor today. But at the same time, you got to keep your knights in front of your monks.
Yeah, I think it was a strong mix of Vasco da Gama being a beast, Alexios not having his day, which brings us this 4-0, which, you know, it's not the dream final that viewers wanted. We wanted to have a competitive best of 7, a back and forth, the series that we thought we would have had when we saw the 2 semifinals and thought about the matchups. But it's competition, and those competitive sets don't happen all the time. Vasco da Gama is out here. He's cutthroat. He wants to win, and he got the job done. And again, if I know who Vasco da Gama is, I also know he maybe has been on the other side of sweeps in finals as well in his career. So, it just goes both ways. Now, ladies and gents, I want to say thanks again, everyone, for being here. I think in a normal tournament, we would have lost a high percentage of you already. You'd be off taking your nap or, I don't know, doing whatever you're doing with your day. The thing is, with Hidden Cup, we had 8 days and incredible games. And we had this bracket unfold before us. And it felt like every series we wanted to guess, and we would guess on who players could be. But then we'd see the next series. And after that series, we would say, well, I'm not so sure I was right about the first guess. Best example of that being, we had some players voted multiple times. We had some players who were never selected at all. And so we have the big reveal of Hidden Cup coming up next. Now, in order to get all this stuff together, obviously we just had our winner. We do have to collect ourselves, get a few things structured to make sure this reveal happens the correct way. So appreciate your patience, everyone, but we'll be to the reveal here shortly, and I'll give you all the details you need on that once we get back here in just a bit after a short break. So stick around. Hidden Cup 5 reveal coming up next. All right, ladies and gents, thank you for waiting. As you can imagine, with a tournament that's run so differently, we have different accounts and different structure and hidden this and hidden that. It takes a lot to make an event like this happen, and it takes a lot to do a proper reveal to really make it special, right? Instead of just being like, hey, this person is this person. See y'all next time, and leave it at that. So thank you for getting things, for allowing us to get things together. Dave, this is one of the best parts about Hidden Cup, man. Obviously, the final is exciting, but we have had a lot of people talking about who they think these players are. And you and I have felt very strongly on who we think certain players are. But I have a feeling that this Hidden Cup, people are going to be more incorrect than ever. And we're going to find out. We actually have the community votes. We have who the players thought they played. We have it all coming up here, dude. How you feeling as we head in towards this reveal?
I'm trying to remember the 3 different brackets and predictions of players that I made throughout the process. And I hope that everyone at home has theirs, set up. I'm sure Nikoff is shaking a little bit. Mark is staying incredibly humble over there. And everyone at home, get ready, because this is the second best part of Hidden Cup after the games. Maybe the best part of Hidden Cup for everyone. We're going to see who is who, and it begins with the round of 16, which is where we thought some of the big dogs might have dropped out.
Yeah, so just to review some of the first round results here before we jump into it, because once we get started, people, we're not stopping. We've got first round, the Vasco da Gama eventual champion, 1-4-1. Now, Vasco da Gama just won in the final. So, Pachacuti got more games off of Vasco than Pachacuti Pachacuti got more games off of him than Alexios did, then Sumanguru 4-1 over Jean Bureau. Otto the Great against Jadwiga. We had Gaj Amata 4-0 and Gregory. That's the big one. I think that's going to be the big one. And then King Stephen over Slim the Grim, Khosrow over Emperor Sigismund, Janjishka against Alfred, and then Alexios all the way back against Robergi's card. Listen, we had 16 participants. We had community guesses. We had 3 people never voted in the entirety of Hidden Cup. I think it is time to finally reveal our players behind their heroes for Hidden Cup 5. Play this outside type of game, but then you've got all this army towards the middle, and it's just like, it's not a fun feeling. Now here we don't see any quick walling, any pre-walling, and Vasco da Gama really struggling with the amount of army that is coming out here from Pachacuti. And now some players might place it towards, some players might place it in the middle and just play safe, but other players, they want to go for a castle that ends the game, and just when the castle foundation is placed, Vasco da Gama calls the GG. He's going to drop his own castle. But this castle might not end up going up here.
Oh, it's only 3 villagers for Jean Bureau, and we have...
He's doing it again. There's a castle coming up right now. What? This is the second game in a row.
This is beautiful. I mean, I was going to ask you where you place a Curial Age. I wonder if he's going to be doing it and have the same sort of counter pushback pressure, but I mean, these Cav Archers have so much value gobbled up.
Is only going for the monk
Supremacy
right
bills
now.
are going for the trap, man.
Man.
Supremacy bills are going for the trap. Oh my God! Did he get supremacy? Did it complete? I think he did.
Yeah.
He's trying
He
to
has.
attack.
Oh,
the villagers fight
wait.
back.
Well, wait. He lost the castle, I
I
believe.
think it got.
So
I think
maybe
he lost the castle. Rethinking it can be possible for me here, but finally,
He's in a very good position right now. Yeah.
I do actually think in some ways this isn't horrible for Otto though, because he's still trading reasonably well. Oh man, and the Trebs get taken out there. That's expensive. 3 relics is not going to be enough to work with to bring you more traps. Also, hand cannons got whittled down by the skirms. Great job there from Gregory. Great fight, actually, for Gajimata after this, as he does clear out a lot of the skirms.
Left are going to be working faster, so taking those buildings down is going to be quite helpful.
Crazy stuff. I mean, Gajimata took losses, and he's still at 93 farms. Tower drops here from King Stephen. The Conquistadors are way too close to these towers. It's a doubt tower times 2. And we now have another tower here from King Stephen. So the Conquistadors, like, that's why I stood there. I was just building up my power. Unbelievable find. For King Stephen to take wood here. I mean, if a demo can get through. Oh, the demo gets through and the demo lands.
Doesn't feel like it's going up, but you never know.
And also no wall attempt on the Bills, right? Doubt confirmed. GG, Salim the Grim.
I have to go after the docks on the left first, and he's going for another castle.
Oh, and King Stephen deletes his dock because his villagers were trapped, but he meant to delete it. They're going to town, and the elite Woad Raiders from Celts taking out the starting TC from Khosrow, and Khosrow does not know what hit him right now.
I'm actually super surprised. Like, this whole game, I thought Khosrow, it's going to be his. I can't see Celts coming up with a great answer within the time window that they needed to to kill. But Scorpions was excellent. I didn't even
so Slam, that's a great point. Archer now is going to be used to bring in the Rhino. That's pro strategies here from Emperor. This is a first. All right. Ooh. Oh, okay. All right. Sigismund stealing some sheep here. Very nice find. I mean, 2 of those are his sheep. Efficiency aspect of the 1 lumber camp over time. But, if you kill the 4 fishing ships, if you dominate the water where you can fish, I could see how this could pay off and what Alfred is. It's going to come eventually here anyways because the dock's going to go down. He's repairing away. He's not producing anything. He's focusing here. There's a million things happening, which is why a lot of players ban this map. And there we go. The fires hop out and boom, the demo connects. And good luck with that pond, Jan Žižka.
Man, you just really have to appreciate how good these guys are. But because of the lack of ballistics, that transport will be able to make it home as we have a big ship battle in the middle of the map. And it's really hard to judge ship numbers in AoE 2 in these big fights, but it's actually an enormous lead right now for Jan Žižka, and Alfred cannot take this.
He's going to do. Because right now, he wants to take those trebs. He wants to keep that castle up. Thankfully, with his unit, the initial attack is very high, and he's going to take a treb, and he's going to take the next one, and that's a wall. Okay. Oh, wow. So not only was it a de-aggro trick, which happens if you build directly, where if you build directly over it, but these palisades, look at
We are getting in.
Ooh, man, dude. That's just the round of 16, but that was always the big question this Hidden Cup, because people wondered who was Gregory the 7th, who got 4-0'd, and now the question is, who was Gajamada, who 4-0'd Tato, because the community votes had Gajamada as Tato all the way through to the semifinals, Dave. I think there is a very happy Argentinian right now who said, I told you so, all the way back on like Tuesday, dude. Oh my goodness. Also, where is Jordan?
Yep.
Where's Jordan? Where is underprepared, apparently, Jordan, who, wasn't practicing that much, apparently? There has been no Jordan. There has been no ACCM revealed. There's been no Viper. There's been no Hera. There's been no Leary. But, we are missing some things here.
We have to give some serious credit to Nikov. We've been throwing flack his way the entire time. He said Tato got 4-0'd. Tato got 4-0'd, and we just refused to believe it. I refuse to believe. I said one of my rules of AoE2 is Mr. Yo does not get flexed on. He got flexed on in that final game. I can't believe it. Tato and Yo in that first round of 16 going down, and that's going to screw up so many brackets going forward. That is unbelievable.
Absolutely. You had to really go on the limb to predict that those two would have gone down. I also had predicted that Yo went down, but I thought Yo was Salim the Grim, and that was actually Vinchester. So that surprised me. It was a very Yo style for me from Salim the Grim, but I thought Vinchester was really hard to find. This Hidden Cup, there's players who qualified for this event that still haven't been revealed yet. I think the one that stands out to me is Sato. I know some people had maybe guessed that Sato was out there, but which one? We'll see. Let's find out, folks. Let's continue on with our reveal. We're coming to complete this. And then when this castle completes, will the other castle complete? I think the other castle will go up as well. So people were speculating on who these players. Paladin is in for Simon Guru. That's probably going to surprise Jean Bureau, and there go the Paladin. They're going to take the engagement solely, I think, to take out the Treb so we can take out the castle. And honestly, I don't think the fight is that bad for Janguro because conquistadors are insane, but he must be worried. See players go, what is that? Zumanguru is walking across the map to build his first up. Okay, I have a memory. I have a memory.
Stabilizing and boom. Imperial Age is up. Trebuchets are knocking down the walls. Oh, a very nearly excellent quick wall to trap those cavalry.
Spears and monks who likes to go with the monks, and now Micron as well. Let's see the Micron. He has a tournament. Probably Red didn't know. Ooh, he got it already.
The monks. He converts the monks, and then he has the spears there as well. And Otto the Great is going to take the middle play. And Otto the Great is laming. Otto the Great is stealing the cows here.
Well, going right away. Probably right.
Yeah, seems like it, man. I have vivid memories of MBL in the past because this is fixed positions, going forward to try and lame. Now we moved the boars onto the back, yet these spearmen have not done much. We'll see if the demos do something though, man. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, there we go! There's your bada boom! Oh man, we've got a demo here. We've got a demo, the demo attack round, and he didn't notice it! Did Otto notice it? Otto notices it now! And Otto gets underneath it, next to it, and kills it. Brutal stuff there for Yadviga. Oh,
Cannot be anyone else. It has to be him.
It has to be MBL. It has to be 110% confirmed. I'm back to betting my life on it. Doesn't see the
Do you wall
Vils.
these in, or do you bring them back? Okay, so he's going to shoot these. Now you bring your scout back and one hit both of these so that your opponent can't take it.
Dude, I mean, you can kind of look at it if you're Gajamada and see the way the boars are kind of going, you know, trying to hit the Vils.
Oh, he takes the sheep.
But now
too,
the sheep are getting lamed as well. And the master boar lamed.
The count is the same right now until that Vil died. Other than that, though, great Mangonel micro from both so far.
Oh my god,
and here come the
dude.
Knights, and here come the Light Cow. Complete clear, maybe?
Split micro from Gaja. He dodges one Mangonel. He should know the other's weak. He runs into the Knights and the Light Cav, though. And the Mangonel will be saved. Oh my goodness, what a clear up for Otto the Great.
That is insane. And that other Mangonel is dead as the crossbows get pushed back.
Okay, now
it's just and he has town watch so he can see. Okay, so just don't. Everyone
Things are not looking good for Salim. Obviously, could be the most important moment of this person's career, right? But there are two players who are known to love unique units and who are known to not resign when they are dead. But maybe Yo does do it. We got the walls coming up. Now, Hindustani scouts do more damage against buildings. What about mule carts? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh,
this is such a
what
dope
have you
moment.
done? Now, what have you done? He moved it. Oh no! Down confirmed! No!
Well, their docks produce faster, and they have fire. They have fire galley. The Vikings don't. So that is so
That's
tragic.
confirmed.
Oh my god!
Villagers there.
Watch.
Villagers there are weak. Mangonel's on the way. Siege could be a surprise. Khosrau backs away. Good micro from Khosrau. Khosrau now goes in to snipe the weak villagers with confidence.
Oh god.
But he only killed one. I mean, he did a great job not losing archers, but the tower's going to go up. And that tower with Bodkin to drop a castle with like very little army support.
The farm's blocking
But honestly,
that, I think. Yeah, the farm's blocking it. He can't do it.
If he finds a spot here, it's actually really good. And it makes it really awkward for Khosrau. So you could steal the farms too. The castle's going to go up. really like the Lycav edition. I also like how Jan Žižka said, what does that wall do, bro? That does nothing. I am into your eco, and I'm going to kill even more villagers. I mean, it's still just 2 Lycav, but you could easily kill 2 or 3 villagers with this. You can still play into Lycav just fine. There's a weak villager. That's going to be a snipe for Jan Žižka. Very patient. And, dude,
and
that could
right
be,
now,
that could be
there's still a big
destroyed.
lead for Jan Žižka.
Alfred didn't go for it, but I think he could have actually destroyed it with the initial volley. Can he range any of the villagers here? Oh! Oh, no! He wanted to deny it! Huns? No, he's Malay. And he's just stacking up these fishing ships. All... It would feel very valuable to me. And there's a knight there. The siege workshop might even be denied, and Alexios is falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, Japanese knights in the Castle Age as strong as anyone else's, right? So happy to make them for the time being, and maybe even looking to end this game.
Wow, man, it's been so cool to like relive these moments and remember these sets and what these players have done. And for the players we just revealed, I have to say, for many of them, their highlights fit the personality, the player we were expecting. We had Doubt with like multiple Doubt castles, right? We had MBL with this very MBL style. And so there's the updated bracket. There's the reveal. And we only have 4 players left to reveal. And obviously, this means we are going to know who's won the whole thing, who was Vasco da Gama, who's our second place Alexios Komnenos. There is one player, Dave, that again was predicted to have beaten Tato 4-0 at the start, who is missing. Now, we could be wrong, but to go back to the call out before we continue here, Nikov, after day 1 or 2, whatever day that was, said, I've played hundreds of games with ACCM. I know him, and he 4-0'd Tato. My response to Margugu when Margugu brought that up was, sorry, Nikov. I said, no wonder Nikov didn't qualify for Hidden Cup 5. We should teach him something. And Nikov, I believe Margugu owes you a burger. I owe you a burger. That was the bet. And I said all viewers owe Nikov a burger. So Nikov's got burgers for life. Maybe. But let's find out who Gajamata was, who Khazra was, and who Alexios Komnenos and Vasco da Gama were in Hidden Cup 5.
Yeah, this is a really interesting strategy, and as you're saying, it's one that we've seen Tato do plenty of times. So the idea behind this, guys, is you go for the forward tower and try and use this to keep your opponent in the feudal age, because if you're both in feudal age, humans will have a better eco than everybody because we've got that second.
Then it cannot be taken at all. And now there's a villager here, and Gajamata doesn't know about any of this. And can Gajamata quick wall? Gajamata gets the quick wall down. Oh, man, on the wait.
Not enough HP there. That villager is having a rough...
I will say... With the Goths, there's what a snipe there from Gajamata. But at some point, you are going to need to deal with the Halbs, and that's how he does it. Tato.
The whole pineapple on pizza. You know what? I'm not going to bring that up right now.
Okay, yeah, it's probably not an important time to get to that divisive of a topic when we've got fires coming in on the right side, and the Galleons are going to get completely surrounded. Emperor Sigismund with an amazing engagement out of nowhere.
It's like they just got squished in there. That was so nice to watch. I'm actually surprised at how well Red is playing. Maybe that Italian's bonus, Chief is in a tricky position here. They need time. That I've wanted, he's wanted. So I'm curious, once I see the draft again, if I look at each ship and I go, oh man.
Look at the trap! The trap from Khazra, Viper confirmed!
Beautiful.
Not only does he trap these knights, but he's got monks lined up with conversions, so it's either join us or be killed. And the other guy trying to get natural vision, and you have a natural cutoff to stop the opponent. Look at the quick walls here from Khazra. He had to move to this side of the lumber camp because of the lack of wood from the walls.
And how do you fight champion? The gate comes up from Khazra. He's like, oh god, I can't fight this unit. Oh my goodness, how do you fight these? More quick walls behind. He's trying to desperately save the bombard cannon, still getting decent trades overall.
By Robert forward
I
on
mean,
that TC.
I
that's trying
think
to be
it's
dropped.
I
Oh my,
think it's
look at it
like-
melt.
I think it's like 5 full volleys from 5 mangonels. I don't really know the math. And if he continues to do this, he could maybe take out the TC, but the defense here, deep.
Producing out of 2 archery ranges. We even have another defensive castle now being dropped here from Robert. It's going to become very difficult for Alexios to find more damage with the camels, and the mangonel shots come up huge right as I talked about the growing numbers of cav archers. They plummet.
Yeah, and Alexios just stays underneath rise, but the villagers come out, and the villagers go for the siege, and the light cav come in, and, well, not so good for the villagers, but actually could have been worse here for Alexios. He will clear up the siege.
Yeah,
So Shipwright came in, which is amazing. I mean, he's going to snag, he's like, thank you. He's going to snag that relic, which he's been protecting. So he's going to have like 6 or maybe like definitely struggled, but splits continue now. Unlike other island games, the more diverse games we've seen, this might just be it, folks. This might be one big fight and then done. Advancing as Alexios, splitting as Alexios, but he's got Khazra backed up towards his production here. And this is something beautiful. Look at both of them dance here. This is 30 seconds away from upgrades for Alexios and about 6. Close. Why kill the elephant when you can convert the elephant? And Agashimata
And
has
block,
to believe that.
block the elephant with the knight. Yeah.
Okay, yep. There we go. Quick calls here from Patrick Cutie. He said, you thought that Vasco was Hera or Vasco was Viper. What about me? And well, that villager is actually house one on the other side. That villager now dies, and this is still very bad for Patrick Cutie. And that siege workshop is needed. Siege. That knight actually is super weak there as well for Vasco. Anyone else kind of like overwhelmed at the moment for Pachacuti? In the hero, yeah, that boar and then the deer and the berries. I'm really curious on how much of a role this actually plays. And we are going to see Vasco da Gama use the scouts. Our wall was deleted. Zebra's on the way. I'm kind of rooting for the zebra here, to be honest.
Would upgrade and horse collar because of poles, right? Yep. And now he has no food. So even though making the farms and dropping off that food is nice, he was really, really delayed. He couldn't get the scouts on the field. He couldn't get the spearmen. This game's already over. Like, it's already done.
I mean, before you even said that, it was like a 7-0 KD. And Vasco da Gama ready for the finals already, it seems. I mean, this guy has stomped everybody so far, and now he's going to... Well, Dave, the reveals are finished. When it came down to the final 4, it felt like it was exactly what we thought it was based on the level that we saw. Hera wins Hidden Cup 5, and he wins it with a 4-0 against his pal Leary. And what a performance. What a run from Hera. 4-1ing Barrows, 4-0ing Jordan, 4-2 against ACCM, and then the big sweep in the final from him. We'll hear from him soon, but now that all names are revealed here, what a Hidden Cup. Give me your thoughts.
Well, the Hera dynasty has begun, dude. The Hera dynasty has begun. He's won 2 Hidden Cups in a row. I think this is like his 6th S tier win in a row, or 7th or something. It's getting ridiculous now in such a competitive landscape. And you can tell you didn't even need his name behind it. You just see himself express himself in the gameplay, and it's incredible. No one can keep up. Nobody can keep up right now. We're going to need somebody to match his level because he is in God form at the moment, and he definitely deserves this victory. No one played better than him. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, and like good luck, right? Because I think like in the past, now granted we're going many years back, but in the past maybe the weakness of Hera was like maybe the strategic side, but
Mhm.
and the skill elements were there. Now the strategic side is there and has been, and then the skill elements are there to back it up. He's so good. Now, I would go as far to say that I knew it was Hera the very first game that we watched of
Yep.
Vasco da Gama. That was the first series. And I didn't want to be that guy who was like, doubt confirmed, or guess somebody right away. But you could just kind of tell for those that watch the game because of how good he plays. And I actually think Hera was one of the easiest guesses for me in Hidden Cup 4, which is 3 years ago. Hera was one of the easiest guesses for me this Hidden Cup. And it's because of his dominance and how good he plays. Obviously, I don't know who is easier to guess, Hera or MBL, or like Hera or Doubt. Maybe
I'm
they're all
not,
tied.
when I look at MBL, I said I would uninstall the game if
Yeah.
it was an MBL. I was that sure. Vasco, I was still a little, unsure. Maybe 95%.
maybe.
And MBL was about
Yeah.
100. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. So I want to, before we bring Hera in, how do we want to do this? Obviously, we have not planned for this portion. We're going to have Hera in an interview. But I would really like to see the overall bracket again. And then I want to see the viewer bracket, which would have been pulled from the data that we had from hiddencup.com to see how correct the audience was. Also, how many people had a perfect bracket. This is what actually transpired here in Hidden Cup 5. We had some crazy sets. We had the biggest upset potentially in Hidden Cup history. I'd really have to go back and look. ACCM 4-0ing Tato is a surprise. I think maybe an ACCM 4-2, a 4-3 victory wouldn't be as big a surprise there. But look at all the players who qualified, Dave, who were still getting some wins here. Here we go. So these are the community guesses. Now, this would have been based on the submission form, not any of the votes, guys. So it's showing the top 3 community guesses and where people fell in. So it seems like with some names, people were fairly certain, but with other names, people were pretty far off. 15% of people voted Tato as Gregory the 7th when it came down to it. 15%, Dave. No one, well, I mean, less than 15% put ACCM as Gregory the 7th. That is crazy.
Look at ACCM as Gajimata, 9.34. The 3-1, sorry. Like, geez, put some respect on the name. My man just got signed. He went to the semifinals. He took 2 games off of Hera, which, seemed impossible for everyone else.
Yep.
ACCM's a beast.
ACCM, one of the big standout performers in this tournament. I agree with you. Some of the other ones there, which were interesting to me, is Salim the Grim. Salim the Grim, people were very uncertain on who Salim was. 26% guess for ACCM. 16% guess for Vinchester, and then 10% guess on Yo. And yeah, I imagine as you look through there, it was very difficult, this Hidden Cup, for people to get it. Hera's up there, Viper's up there. People were fairly certain with Doubt. People were fairly certain with MBL. But what a fun time, dude. What a fun time. Now, I don't know if we have a graphic for the player guesses. I haven't seen a preview of this. Obviously, I couldn't hear the player guesses. Okay, so when the players finished their round, they were supposed to guess who they played against. And in green is if they got it correct. So obviously, for example, the Jordan Mihai series, Mihai thought he played against Hera, and it was Jordan. And then Jordan thought he played against Hart. So the players were pretty spot on. They were 73% correct with their guesses for the most part, which is pretty good. Just cool to see that, because you don't always know if they're going to know, but it seems they got a feel for it.
I like how Mihai was like, I got 4-1. I'm a god. It's definitely Hera. That's the only guy who can 4-1 me.
It's also interesting because we were kind of confused on. Wait a second. So did Doubt guess that he played Vinch? I'm guessing, and then Vinchester thought he lost to Yo. Huh. I would have, dude. If I got someone dropping castles on me and failing them like that.
Yeah.
How does Vinch not know? Also, Dave, Look what ACCM guessed when he won 4-0. He guessed a qualified player. He didn't know that he 4-0'd Tato. He guessed that he 4-0'd Mihai.
God.
Yeah.
So he just found he just
He
found
just
out
found
that
out.
that's
He just found out. He was like,
ACCM.
yeah. He's watching Hidden Cup and he's like, wait a second. I beat Tato? I beat Tato 4-0? And then also ACCM had no clue he beat Barles either. He also guessed MBL. So ACCM doesn't care who his opponent is. He's actually struggled to guess, but maybe it boosted his confidence here not knowing.
How did he not guess MBL? What? ACCM. Listen,
I mean,
somebody needs to check this guy out, okay? Wait, ACCM, what's going on over there, bro?
yeah, I mean, clearly he's talented, but the way he sees the game, it just doesn't compute. But again, congratulations to ACCM for getting top 4. Best performance from him in a long time. We'll talk to Harry here in a second about ACCM, I'm sure at some point. But guys, I believe we will not have face cam available for a winner. We want to talk to him, hear about his Hidden Cup experiences. Hera, if you're here, speak up, my friends, and congratulations for winning Hidden Cup 5.
Hello. Thank you so much, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
everything's good, dude. How's
Awesome,
it feel?
thank
How's it feel? A crazy run and continuous streak of victories for you. How you feeling right now?
Dude, I feel amazing. First of all, thank you so much, guys, for having me for the interview. It's been an amazing tournament, and I have to say, my new favorite moment of the tournament was hearing you and Dave react to the reveal. That was so sick. But
I didn't know you were
dude,
here.
Wait, our mics were on?
I was listening. Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh,
reactions. Like,
yeah,
guys-
you were here. Okay.
Dude, I love how much you guys love the game. It's just insane, bro. I was smiling there on my PC. But yeah, it feels amazing. I'm really happy to take the tournament home. I put in a lot of work for this one, and yeah, it means a lot, man. It means a lot.
All right, so Hera, we're just gonna take you through it. I know it's a mix of emotions for everybody in the call right now. So coming into Hidden Cup, is there a race going on? You got Cobra cars outside
so
there.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. The mic picks up a lot. I hope production can fix that.
No, bro, don't be sorry. It's funny. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Nikov just said welcome to
Cobra car
Argentina in the chat. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't feel bad. So coming into Hidden Cup, you obviously were a player who got to, you watched the qualifiers. You did not have to qualify. Geez, I'm struggling here.
Mm-hmm.
How are your confidence levels? Obviously, the hidden aspect, the random seeding, having new maps get brought in. There's a lot of factors. So just kind of talk me through where you were at.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for this Hidden Cup, I was actually practicing from way earlier. So even though I didn't play the qualifier, I was helping like multiple people practice and prepare for the qualifier. So it's basically like I played 2 tournaments. Like I played the qualifier without playing it because I was practicing a lot. And actually, the funny thing is the new maps that were incorporated made both the qualifier and the main event feel completely different. So like I really, really love that you brought in new maps and you have to figure out the meta, like the race to figure out the meta on the maps or like what works. It's just, as a player, that is so fun. So like that was just amazing on your end. Made the whole experience a ton of fun, and got us all together talking and strategizing. But yeah, I've been pretty much grinding Hidden Cup for the past month or so here.
Nice. Okay, so question right away on that topic. You may not want to reveal who you practice with. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Heart's out there saving strats for next Hidden Cup or something. But like I could see, I had this sense when I'm watching Hidden Cup, when I thought you were Vasco, I was like, okay, look for Hart and look for Leary then and see if there's some similarities. Did you happen to hear my call out when Alexios went Turks on bypass? Did you watch that game at all?
Yeah, I actually watched a lot of Hidden Cup, to be honest. The stream was so good. So I watched a lot. Yeah, I heard that call out. You were good. You caught me early.
Okay, because we unfortunately we don't have Leary here with us. But to me, I was like, okay, this Alexios guy clearly is trained against Vasco and lost to this strategy, but I could tell that Alexios didn't really practice it as much, So that was kind of cool to kind of see that play out because in other tournaments. You kind of get a feel for the meta. Everyone starts to do it. So that's kind of my next question. And then I should probably let Dave speak again. The fact that the first 2 rounds happen behind closed doors, meaning all your strategies are not really seen by anyone until technically, like, after the quarterfinals. Did that change anything for you in terms of what you showed in this tournament?
That was amazing. That was I hope and I wish more tournaments can be like that somehow. I don't know how that works into the production or whatnot, but being able to play rounds, especially early on, without having to show your strategies to everyone else, means you can go all out. That's probably why we had guys like ACCM come in guns blazing. Because I talked to ACCM and NEC, I was playing him round 1, and he said, "You know what? I'm not going to do anything versus you. I'm just going to save all my strats." And this time he came in guns blazing. That's how you get those results. So I love that we played first 2 rounds behind closed doors. No player had access to the recorded games. So you come in guns blazing, and you can use it for 2 rounds, which is huge. And I think ACCM took a big advantage of that as well.
Nice.
So talking about coming in guns blazing, from your perspective, Hera, like not knowing who you're up against as your opponent, how does that affect your draft for those first couple rounds, right? Are you drafting towards your strengths more than your opponent's weaknesses in that situation? Are you expecting that you're just going to be up against, a very, very strong player, or are you taking a chance that you might be up against one of the qualified players and just taking it a little bit easier and maybe more defensive, more reactive?
Yeah, that's obviously an excellent question because, I guess there's 2 ways to do it. You get to kind of think of the possibilities and then kind of like play your draft from there. But I went for the safe route and just played the first draft for me. And actually, by the end of the map draft and the Civ draft, I knew my first opponent was Barles, but I went into the draft completely blind. So I was able to guess based on his picks. But going to the draft, I just played for me what I wanted to do and then go from there, adapt on his maps.
I guess you kind of you also have that luxury, Hera, being so good as well. You don't have to play the counter style. But I wanted to ask kind of perspective from maybe some other players, as I think you might have insights there. It's like, do you think that less people played to counter their opponent in Hidden Cup compared to other tournaments because of the lack of knowledge about whatever strats they could have been practicing or preferences?
Ooh, that I'm sure for sure. Yeah, I'm sure it plays a role because it's a different dynamic. I also think the psychology behind it is also a big factor. Going in, you know who you're playing versus you don't know. Especially those early rounds where you have zero information, you haven't even seen what the guy's capable of first 2 rounds. That is a really big part of Hidden Cup. And you know what? I absolutely love how that feels. Going in and trying to figure it out, like. The players are also trying to figure out. We have a different perspective, but it's also a nice game for us to figure out who's who. And honestly, it was just a ton of fun. I absolutely loved Hidden Cup this time around. I mean, I've loved every single edition. I mean, this is a really special tournament for me, but this tournament, especially Hidden Cup 5, has been just a ton of fun.
Okay, awesome. So, honestly, I mean, this might surprise you, Hera, but I also am a very big fan of Hidden Cup. And I also really appreciate certain aspects of it. It's going to shock you, the guy who's been out here, advocating for islands for a month and a half, big fan. But I want to ask you more generally on the journey side of things, because if I'm not wrong, with your age career, I mean, dude, Dave and I were casting your games 10 years ago when you were like, I don't know how old you were then. You were younger. We were all younger, right? We all had less gray hairs. But I remember.
Shut up! I actually didn't. It's sad. It's sad because I didn't.
What?
Hera, how dare you? So disrespectful. Yeah. Look at this guy. No. Hera, do you happen to remember our conversation leading up towards Hidden Cup 2? And do you happen to remember what your goal was in Hidden Cup 2? This would have been maybe 6 years ago now. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I remember vaguely, but I do remember wanting to get past round 1. That's it. And I failed.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you did, and it might be a bit funny now because you're at the top, but I remember that being the goal. And funny side note, you were like, my goal is to get past the first round. And back then, your biggest demon was Vivi. And you were like, hopefully I don't randomly get seated against Vivi. And then you got seated against Vivi.
Hilarious. That was the one guy I was terrified of, and I saw
Yeah.
the tower rush coming. I remember, and I still lost to it. It was just a tragedy, man. Freaking busy.
But not to bring up, bad memories here, but I just, it's been a long journey, so I'm just kind of curious on within Hidden Cups itself, of course, and maybe more generally,
Yeah.
how you feel about like the journey and how it feels to have been there and now be at the top of Hidden Cup yet again.
Well, actually, the journey didn't start in Hidden Cup 2. It actually started with Hidden Cup 1, except I was a viewer. I was working at a terrible part-time job at a deli, and then Hidden Cup 1 was happening, and I was away from the game at that point, but I was still like a top player, but like, top 100, not like higher than that. And I was watching the Hidden Cup 1 on my break, and I was so into it. I didn't go back to work, didn't tell my manager I'm quitting. I quit on the spot at a restaurant, and I went home and I said, I'm going to start practicing. I want to play this. And that's where my journey truly begun.
And there's still a man at the deli counter waiting for his lunch meat to take home to his family to this day. Still standing there, Hera. Have you ever thought about that, man?
It was a busy Saturday as well. I screwed them over.
Hey, I mean,
sorry
dude,
to my coworkers.
It was Hidden Cup semifinals, man. I mean, come on. I get it.
Bro, that's
cool,
what I
dude.
told them.
That's really
I
cool.
wanted to tell them. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I don't know if Dave has any more thoughts, but we kind of said it all in the cast. We've seen the consistency and improvement. You play really well. And my favorite thing, Hera, beyond your ability, which obviously there's some level of work. There's a lot of work involved in all ability, of course. But like, dude, we had 2 new maps, and you had great strats for all of them, right? You didn't leave a stone unturned. You didn't think that you could just get by without practicing on some of them. So that to me is what Hidden Cup's supposed to be about. The preparation should have some payoff. So I'm really, really happy for you, man. Congratulations. And you really treated Hidden Cup with the respect that I want I want players to treat it with. So thank you for that, and congratulations again.
Bro, thank you so much. That means a lot, honestly. And yeah, like I absolutely took this tournament extremely seriously, and I put in extra amounts of work compared to my usual for tournaments. So I was like super ready for it, and it was actually a really fun time practicing with this tournament, since I practiced with so many different people, like qualifier players, my old teammates, AM guys, my new teammates, the GL guys. I practiced with like pretty much everyone except ACCM, sadly, and then I was able to make it happen. So yeah, thank you, man, and it's been a great ride.
Well, Hera, I just want to say, dude, as a fan of Age of Empires 2 for a very long time, even without your name attached to the gameplay, we can tell it's yours because it's pretty close to freaking perfection, dude. Like, I watch games, and in my mind, now, in reality, I know I can't, but in my imagination, I'm saying, I could probably do that. I could probably do that. I watch you play in this Hidden Cup, and I'm saying I would never be able to do that. My old fingers, my bald head, I can't keep up with that, bro. So it's just poetry in motion, and it's everyone's gonna have to get it figured out because you're on a level right now, buddy, that nobody else can match, and it's all to your credit. You combine that execution with the preparation that you put in, and you deserve it all, man. Good job.
Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I just want to say to you, Dave, and to T90, this Hidden Cup was absolutely amazing from a viewer perspective. Like, I'm not just a player, I'm also like a fan, and it was insane to watch this tournament. I was watching way more than I should have. I should have been playing and practicing. I was watching a lot. And T90, you especially, I want to remind you of a moment. Game 1, the first day of Hidden Cup, I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready to start watching, and it was my set first. And 1 minute into the cast, T90 goes, "Oh, look, it's a gold and it's shaped like an H. Imagine if this is Hera."
I remember that,
bro.
It was on slopes. Yeah, and I was like, then I'm watching the play, and I'm like, hold on a second.
I was like, there's no way. I was waiting to see who's gonna guess me. Minute 1, T90's got it because of the gold. Hilarious.
Yeah, I actually think you might have had another H gold, but at that point, I was actually on throw people off the scent mode, not like get people to think it's Hera mode. But maybe that's for some person who has too much time on his hands looking for the H. Hera, the floor is yours if you need to say anything else. go for it, dude. Thanks again for stopping by for the interview and for an amazing performance.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much once again to you guys. I have a few shout outs as always for the tournament. I'm going to start with the most important one this time around, and that is the viewers, of course. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting me, for watching the event. You guys are the real MVPs. Respect you guys all. We all love you. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me and supporting the tournament in general. Shout out to my wife and my family and her family, my 2 families there for supporting me as well. Those guys are, what I'm fighting for. And shout out to all of my fans, of course, especially those in Argentina, since I'm living there. And I hear and I feel a lot of the hype from the South American fans. So shout out to you guys as well. Special shout outs. You guys are amazing. And lastly, shout out to my competitors. You guys are all fantastic players. It's been a great time practicing and playing with you guys. And of course, the unseen heroes, the unsung heroes. You got the production, you got the admins, Robo, JBR, whoever else. Production, thank you all. You guys made the event so much better. Riley, shout out to you as well. And I hope I didn't miss anyone. This event was great. Thank you, everyone. And thanks for the space, T90.
All good, dude. Congratulations again. See you next time. All right. Well, Dave, the end of another Hidden Cup. It was the best Hidden Cup in my eyes in terms of some of the elements we were able to do. Obviously, the every goal is to have every best of 7 go to the 7th game to avoid technical difficulties and technology getting in the way. There's things that we could not control. The guessing aspect, the upset aspect. I felt the maps. I mean, we've added on to the already good maps. It was a great Hidden Cup, a very special one. And thank you so much for joining again, dude. I had such a great time casting the games with you. There's, early rounds, Dave T90, but then we just get into it, dude. You said it to me. You're like, let's do it, dude. And it's just like, whew, this is my spot. And I had a great time casting with you and having you on the show again.
Well, I've been with you since number 1. You started this journey a long time ago. I've been with you along for the ride, every single finals, every single semifinals, I think. I don't think I'd miss it for the world. Hidden Cup was kind of the first one you captured a magic. Maybe it was accidental, right? Kind of stumbled into it just because we were trying to find a way for Viper to lose. But to your credit, you've kept that magic going. Every single Hidden Cup, right? Every single one is bigger and or better than the last one. This one is no exception. I think I only missed maybe 1 set here, and it was 2 games out of 4. That was the Gregory sweep, and I was busy with other things, but that was the only set I missed. It's must watch. I guess it's not television anymore, but must watch something. Age of Empires, I suppose. And it's all to your credit. It's to the production, the players, the co-casters being on here. And I have to give a special shout out to Robo, because Robo has been involved with every single Hidden Cup. He has known who all of the players are. Robo has been involved, but he's never been allowed to have the same fun that the viewers have had trying to guess people, right? His fun is a different kind of sick type of fun where he knows who people are and he knows that you don't know who they are. And he's playing tricks with you, right? Right. So like it's a different type of one, but he's never been able to participate. And he's put in so much work behind the scenes. So shout out to him. Shout out to JBR, obviously. And then Hera for winning it. ACCM, Viper, Leary for great performances there. And obviously to you. Have a great end to this stream, dude. You did such a good job. You deserve everything that you get here. And chat, well, stay humble. I'll see you later.
All right. Salutes, please, to Dave. I kind of alluded to it when he was here, but it's much easier for me to say when he's not like directly in the call with me. A great friend of mine, man. I don't think you guys really realize where the community, like where a lot of this spawned from. You can hear it in our words, but like I have memories of getting home from not paying attention at school, and getting home from not caring about work, and sitting on and looking for games, looking for anyone that's over the rating of 1,700 playing this game. There was like no players. It was so inactive, and I just wanted to put my crappy headset on, or when I got a mic, wear my same stupid headphones and hop into a call and just cast whatever we could. Very vivid memory in my mind from I don't know, this would have been 2015, 2016, is freaking Dave had a Bluetooth headset. And I'm trying to be professional in front of my 50 viewers because this is a big deal for me. And he keeps walking around his house with his Bluetooth headset, getting his wine. At one point, he drops the wine glass and he's picking up the pieces. And I'm like trying to be a pro in front of 50 people. And we're looking for games. Like everyone kind of garbage. The ping was like 400, 500 ping. But like we laugh, and it like where we are, guys, it kind of spawned, the fact that we're here, the fact that he's still here, he's still such a good friend, the fact that the viewers, the community growing hasn't changed that. Like Dave is as good a guy, if not better, as what he seems like on stream, because you never know, right, the difference between someone on stream or not. Seriously is. And it means a lot to me. And our something as well that he's done very well over the years is there's always something to improve on. There's always something we could do better, and we mesh well because of that mindset. So thank you, please, salutes to Dave for that. Well, initially we were very concerned with time because we have a live viewing party at the U.S. Or in the U.S. that I'm going to be at, and so I was concerned I wouldn't have the time to thank everybody. But I think honestly, I'm going to have time to go through it. And I want to say viewers first. If you enjoyed any of Hidden Cup, I think it's really important to me that you hear the words I'm about to speak, because you really just don't know the amount of people that have been involved in this one and the amount of work involved in it. So it's very likely I'm going to miss someone, but I'm just going to start. And I'm going to start again with Robo and JBR. Dave kind of said it. They both worked hard to make sure the players scheduled played games on time. Typically in my tournaments, I have an admin, but it's like, hey, if there's a big issue, come to me. Let's talk it out. In Hidden Cup, that's a no-go, right? I can't know details. And so that is a bit more responsibility as they are then making decisions if things go south. It also, I love the players, but it's not easy. The frequency in which players do not read rules that they say they agree to or get the times wrong or whatever is higher than I would like. I don't know if it happened this time. In all honesty, I just don't know. They just deal with all that. They make it smooth as possible, and they do a great job. So I'm going to start there. The production for this event, as far as I know, this is the last event that they will run in esports, and they're so nice. I've done this is the first time I've used them for one of my events, but I've worked with them, some of the online Red Bulls and some of the NACs. They did a great job. They're so communicative. We definitely had to roll with some punches this week, and it was always thinking how we can do things better, how we can improve, and I'm going to reiterate this point when I thank my editing team. But guys, like, I'm nice, but when it comes to events and Hidden Cup, if there's any free time, if we get anything done, I'm not like, oh, okay, good. Now we're ready. No, I'm like, we got to fill it up with more shit. And that's a problem I have. And I was very much like that with them this event. And I did preface that with them, and they, if they couldn't do it, they let me know. If they could do it, they tried. And, a big part of that was the reveal. I was like, the reveal is big. They killed it with that. So very thankful for them and the work they did. Along those same lines, I got to shout out 3 people who played a massive role in Hidden Cup, Hardy and Ugly, and they have helped in the buildup. It wasn't just the main event. The thumbnails, the emotes, the videos, the edits. Hardy did the majority of the editing stuff. Any image, any panel, any thumbnail, any emotes, it was all Ugly. And it was the same with them. There was not a day over the last month where they probably didn't wake up and have a message for me, right? And that's a lot, right? I recognize that. And I try and allow some level of balance, for the people that work with me typically. But that's kind of how my mindset was this month. And I told them, hey, it's going to be like this. And there was always something more. And so I appreciate you guys so much for working so hard and ultimately making the event what it was, not leaving any stone unturned. Small story about both of those two. I have memories of 2015 sitting in TeamSpeak. That's right, TeamSpeak. In that call was Hardy, Dave, MBL. And I have calls where Viper was in there too. It's such a small community that has exploded. Think about that. Otto the Great, co-caster for the weekend, and now full-time editor Hardy. And none of this could have ever been believable. The fact that it all spawned from a game that was dead and you know, no official support to build up to where we are is wild. So the fact that it still has continued on has been incredible. Big salutes, please, to Tiermis. Tiermis came on and did amazing job with editing for Hidden Cup. He did the majority of the hero videos, and it was so fun. Also in combination with Riley, who absolutely killed it. Riley helped me choose the heroes. We had multiple calls on game plans. He's a very busy man, and he's a good friend of mine. I'm so happy to have met him. I will come clean. Many of the jokes where he made fun of me, I actually gave him the ideas, but there were some that I did not. And so some of my frustration with the jokes was because he took it a step further than I put into the scripts. Okay. But anyways, respect to you, my friend, and hope to see you again at some point. So guys, I gotta just to give you an idea. Every game that you saw on Hidden Forts and Evacuation, probably for every game you saw of Evacuation and Hidden Forts, there were probably 5 played and 10 watched on my side. Those maps started as concepts, but to get them to be competitive maps to a point where I was comfortable with them being in a tournament, they had to be tested and they had to be competitive games. I did the same for the previous Hidden Cup, but because map scrutiny was a bit higher, I put myself under a lot more pressure to make sure the maps were killer. And so I would finish casting qualifiers, and I would get on and I would play games with players who lost in the qualifiers. So we had so many people that I asked that lost in the first round. Anyone 2K1, 2K2. I cast for 7 hours. I get on, I play for 5 hours, usually get my ass kicked. But it was like, okay, what aspect of the map needs improved? What needs to change? The unbuildable terrains, the tiles of trees, the frequency of the rhinos, all those things. All that we're on version 10 of Hidden Forts. There were so many different things we could have done. And I have to say, the maps absolutely killed it. Like, I'm already thinking there's a slight tweak I want to make to Hidden Forts because of freaking Hera. But honestly, we didn't get to see Hidden Forts in the final. And I really, I just got to say that I appreciate the map team. We had 2 maps that ultimately, we had 2 maps that ultimately made the cut, but we were playing games on 5 of them. So there was so many. We had like 5 or 6 people on the maps. Special shout out, please, to T West, though, who did so much of the managing the maps and helping with the maps and making sure the maps were as fair as possible. But like Young Panda, Danger Duck, Hank, shoot, now I've said so many. I think I might be missing some here. I'm so sorry if I'm missing a name here. Please just know that I'm exhausted. Okay. But yeah, I may make videos on the development of those maps because I think it could make fun video content in the future, but we'll see. But the maps are important. To the players who trained with me, thank you. There's like a dozen of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for training with me on the maps to make sure they were in a good spot. It was super important to me that the maps were actually good. I did miss, thank you, chat. Everyone's saluting Mapu right now. Mapu deserves all the salutes. Mapu's a fantastic observer. Thank you, Mapu, for everything you did. I still remember when I did not like observing many years ago, and I was very negative Nancy about observing, and Mapu won me over. It was a bit rough at the start because we had some technical difficulties, but Mapu did a great job. All right. I mean, we're not really even done, man. The Hidden Cup website, all the stats, WDW Kid. Thank you so much for that. We had Gerbot managing the stats on AOEstats.io. We had Hazemi helping with a lot of the guesswork and the guessing heroes. We had Grim working on the poll systems to make sure things worked. I had I already said that person's name. Just so many people on top of the usual stuff for this event to make sure it went well. And I might be missing some names. So yeah, thank you. Okay, so listen, I'm gonna say this is where we gets a bit emotional. All right, I don't know how long you guys have known me. I don't know how long what you know about me. I don't know what you know about my career. But this Hidden Cup for me was this was not just about this event for me. It was a build up, which I'd like to explain as a thank you. So so 3 years ago or 3.5 years ago, Hidden Cup 4 happened. And when Hidden Cup 4 concluded, I was over the moon with everything that transpired. God, Victory, chill with the subs, dude. This is not helping the emotions. Just chill. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Trying to get in touch with my emotions here, Victory. I do appreciate it. Okay, let me just finish. So listen, like when Hidden Cup 4 happened, we got, okay. All right. So at the start of this whole thing, this whole Age of Empires thing, all anyone ever told me was, you're wasting your time with this freaking game. And guess what? On paper, I absolutely was. There was no official support for the game. The community was very small. The pathing was awful. The lag was insane. There was no proper area, proper location to play the game. And I could have been doing things better with my time. I maybe should have been doing things better with my time. I should have valued my maybe my time more. But it is me casting this game was the only thing that really I had ever found a spark in, honestly. There were things that I liked, but this was never anything that felt I brought any value to with my life. So I kept doing it and kept doing it. And it eventually, it got to this point where it was like the logic said, you can't do this. And I got very used to that. But then the community, however small it was as we grew, we smashed it, right? And then it was like, all right, next time. This shouldn't work. This shouldn't happen. And guess what? We do something amazing. And it just kept going. And I've been so lucky that every time it's like logic's here and we go here. Logic's here and we go here. So very grateful for that. And fast forwarding to Hidden Cup 4 then, right? So that's like however long that time period was. Hidden Cup 4 was insane. It was massive. There was all these things that transpired. And I would just looked, I was so happy and so pleased. But I was like, I see this as an opportunity to actually improve. Right? Let's not rest on our laurels here. Let's not appreciate this for too long. Let's not celebrate too much because I can improve that with my casting. I think the game could improve in that direction and that direction to make the community better. I think that the esports side can go this direction, that direction. And then I got an offer from Facebook. So this high moment, this big moment that should have never happened. And I'm like, let's take it further. I get an offer to leave Twitch and go to Facebook. And so I was like, immediately, my response was, nah, I can't see myself leaving this. This is going well. This is great. I said, no. And then they kept approaching me. And the offer was something that any reasonable man would take. And I was like, nah, I don't think that's going to work. But you know what I should do? I feel like this is going to keep going. Let's reach out to who I can reach out to see they're on board. AKA streaming platforms, AKA direction I want the game to go, AKA all these different things, sponsors. And I don't mean to imply that it was just like a straight up no or a straight up we don't believe in the future, you do T90. But in that moment, I felt it was very clear that the belief that I had in this rocket ship was not matched. It was matched by you, But I didn't. It was very clear that I did not feel as though it was matched, and so I had to do the responsible thing. To 2 years is nothing. It's the blink of an eye in all of life. And I went to Facebook, and when I went to Facebook, it became very easy for people to say things about me. You guys might not feel this anymore. Maybe you still do. I don't know. But all I know is for the first time in my career, people question my dedication for the game. People question my knowledge of the game more than ever. People question my approach, my motives. It became very easy for that to happen. And I knew it was going to happen. And so when I started on Facebook, I said, my actions have to show people. Sure, I'm on Facebook, but it can be 4K videos. I can do a video every day. I can get better in this way and that way as a caster. If I don't improve myself in this way as a player, I cannot properly analyze these situations as a caster. I need to improve that. And so it was like literally full-on game plan from the start of Facebook. You had Wandering Warriors, 6 months later, TTL Season 1, 6 months later, TTL Season 2, 6 months later, TTL Season 3, 6 months later, Hidden Cup 3. 5. Sorry. So my point is that I'm so grateful for what just happened here with Hidden Cup 5, but this was a 3-year thing. And I thought about this week. And I have nothing to prove to anyone who does not believe in the game or me or my energy or my efforts anymore. And I'm not acting like I got a lot of hate. I've got chat flying in, man. But 10 years after this, man, all I will ever look to and fight for and care about is the people who have backed me and understand. It's a weird business because you get used to, you get really used to the love. And so what stands out is the 1% of whatever negative stuff's on the end. And I'm happy that I got to this point because, you know, it's it can sometimes get to you too much, and it can be motivating at times to try and prove people wrong, but screw that, dude. Screw that. I proved people wrong enough. I love this game, man. I love the game. I love to talk about it. I think there's so many different ways to play it, so many different ways to present it, and I love to make people happy in what ways I can and have a great time. All right? And so along those same lines, I'm gonna be trying to take a little bit better care of myself. This last month and a half is rough, dude. It's not healthy. I guess it's admirable to some degree, but I want to read a book and actually not be able to think about Age of Empires for 7 minutes. I want to take a nap for once. And I still want to work hard and make content, but I'm going to have to figure out a little bit of a better balance. So I just, you know, I guess I just said, I don't care if people question me, but if I'm not quite to the same degree of all in, and I have a little bit more me time, I think it's going to be better for me and better for the content. I'm not going anywhere. I love this game. I love what I do, but I'm just going to find some balance. But to Hidden Cup and the accomplishments here, guys, I think we had over 50K viewers today. The sub count's been unbelievable. We had crazy donations. I think back to the tiny town I grew up in and just the paths I didn't have. There was, you could easily, when I talk to people about what I do, man, they say, dude, you're living the dream. And it's probably a weird thing for me to think, but I'm just like, this actually wasn't a dream. There was no path. You know, there was live streaming wasn't big. The game wasn't back, you know. So to be here is just wild. I don't know how I got here or why I got so lucky, but I feel very grateful to have an amazing community who supported me and has had interest in my events. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. Sorry if things got a little emotional. These are big moments for me. Like I said, it was a 3-year buildup, but I'm gonna have to take a bit of a break. So I'll see you in 4 days or something. Thank you, everybody. We've got people in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, waiting for me. Fort Lauderdale, please save me some freaking pizza. I'm starving. All right. Frank, stop eating the last slice of pizza. T90's coming. Come on. No, it's all right. We should have some more food showing up. I can't wait to meet people. To have like 300 people in person for this meetups is just amazing. I don't know about the future of Hidden Cups, my friends. I planned out the 3 years. If Hidden Cup 6 comes someday, we'll have learned a lot. We'll adjust and we'll kill it. But I want to say thank you, Age of Empires 2 fans. Thank you, Age community. Thank you, everybody. I forgot to thank the sponsors. Microsoft, thank you. Thank you so much. Crap. Thank you, Red Bull. Thank you, Surfshark. Please, please, please check out the link to Surfshark below the stream. Please, seriously, do that. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm embarrassing myself. That's it, guys. That's it for Hidden Cup 5. It was an amazing event. Thank you so much. I appreciate this so much. I'm so lucky. I'm going to stop embarrassing myself now. Bye. See you next time. If there is, might be. Bye. Bye. See ya. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.